My big ass Slimer. All right, and welcome to episode 185 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, the faceless one, Chris.
It lives.
We have Steven, who just keeps showing toys that I want to buy and not saying anything.
Yes.
And last but not least, super happy about more Warhammer news, Chase.
Jinkies.
He just wanted to take that over. So this week is going to be talking a lot about the recent Gamescom announcements, or at least what the other guys saw. I had to get a highlights on it because I was traveling over in Texas. A little bit about the Kirby Air Ride Direct, some Sony pricing news, and a bunch of game announcements. So that's pretty much what we're going to be covering. But before we get into all that, let's jump into what we've been doing. And Chris, you haven't been here in a while, and I can't see if you're paying attention or not. So I'm going to call you out in front of the class.
All told.
What? Oh, right. So I've been playing a lot of UFO 50, which is basically a weird kind of love letter to more NES games than I had even imagined.
50 of them, maybe?
Well, here and there. Some of them are new, which is also fun. It's not even all NES. A lot of it is like TurboGrafx 16. There's a La Mulana tribute kind of thing. The whole idea is that these are all games from a fake studio, but they are also, the gameplay is basically an homage to various things like Bubble Bobble, Ghosts and Goblins. One of them is kind of like Rally X, except there's also some kicks in there. So some of them are even mixes of different types of games. And it's a really fun and simple purchase. I wish they'd have given more time to the Direct on it. But yes, it's a fun one. Aside from that, I also played and finished DK Bonanza.
Hell of an ending, isn't it? I was so happy.
Oh, yeah. That's the entire game is basically leading up to it. But even if it didn't, it's just a fun game as it is. It's a mixture of a lot of different types of things. It's like Odyssey plus Breath of the Wild plus Donkey Kong Country. So it's an interesting game. Definitely the kind of game you would buy a Switch 2 for, which I did. But aside from that, I also got back to the Switch Zelda games. I finally got every shrine in Tears of the Kingdom to match my every shrine in Breath of the Wild, and now I'm just completioning the hell out of it. And that's what I've been doing.
Did you continue a previous save, or did you start new with the Switch 2?
I started new to start off with,
okay.
But then I got bored, and I went back to my old save and finished all the shrines.
I do like that they let you put an extra save on there now.
I was worried about that, but yes, thank God.
Did you just turn completion into a verb?
I'll deal with it.
Completioning? Completing?
I said completionisted.
Completionisted.
Total delay.
Oh, thanks. Don't drag me into this. I didn't do this.
I'm going to test you later. Just you wait.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's a word at the end of the show that's going to be just a nightmare that I have not practiced.
Everybody needs to know what game it is. Okay.
Yeah. Chase, what about you? You're next. What you been doing?
I've been playing some of the dungeons of Nahulbuk. It's the voice acting alone is worth the price of admission. That thing, it's ridiculous. Like the amount of banter and talking that they do towards each other is hilarious. And the kind of fourth wall breaking as well. Like they're just talking. Like what was it? One section of the game, they were like, "Oh, is there a dragon in this dungeon?" And the guy's like, "Nope, way above our player level at the moment."
Nice.
So I was just like, "Great."
That's all right. That is great.
You've talked about this one before, so I might have to get into it.
Yeah, it's like it is fun, and I think for a while there, I think it was on a flash sale with PlayStation, so I don't know if you could still grab it for cheap, but it's honestly just a fun game to play. It's on Switch too, as well, I think.
Is it a single player or multiplayer?
Single player.
Okay. Have to look into that.
And then I've been playing Return to Dark Tower with Shinoa. It's a co-op board game that has a companion app. So you actually literally have like a tower. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, which you put in the center of the game board. It connects to an app via Bluetooth on your phone or your tablet.
Huh.
And then you actually
That's new.
you take your turns. You basically play as like a champion of a kingdom, either the north, the south, the east, or the west. It could take up to 4 players, and you try to build up your characters. You build up what's called advantages, and you use those advantages in fights. So, for instance, like if you're fighting an enemy, say for instance like the Shadow Wolves, they're about stealth and beast advantages. So you're accruing. So you might have a character that has a lot of stealth advantages, so they'll be good against fighting them. Other enemies will require different advantages to beat them. So so in theory, the more players you have, the more diversified your player base can be, and potentially like certain players will be better at handling certain enemies. And the idea is that you're questing, like you're either battling monsters or you're questing, like going through dungeons, or you're cleansing buildings on the map. It's a really fun game, but man, does that game try to screw you over like any way it can. It is brutal in how much stuff it throws at you to try to manage.
Are we talking like Mario Party level of screw you over, or?
Yeah, pretty close. Like you'll just get
that's rough.
Yeah, you'll just constantly, they'll just be like, oh, yep, you've like killed all of these enemies. Here's like 5 more that we're going to spawn on the map. Like you thought you were done or you were getting ahead of things. And then, yeah, trying to complete, because you'll have quests that you can get to unlock new companions that give you better abilities, things like that. Or you'll have quests that like adversary quests where it's basically like, if you don't complete this quest, something bad's going to happen to somebody. So then you're like, okay, better try to hurry up and complete that. But yeah, all the while that you're doing this, you're trying to complete the main overarching quest, which then spawns the adversary, which is like the boss basically. And once you defeat the boss, then you win the game.
You just described For the King.
So for all of my book reading fellow friends that are Stephen King fans, when I first saw this Return to Dark Tower listed on here, I was like, ooh, is this actually tied to the Dark Tower series? It is not. There is no Roland Deschain. There is no one going after the tower to bring the rose. You're forgetting the face of your father. It is just not happening. So I for a brief moment was either thinking there was a game that was tied to it I was not aware of, or Chase and I are about to talk books and I was happy about it. So that's cool. It does sound neat. Real quick before the show, I looked up the original board game. So it's kind of neat how because I think it said it was made like 1981. So this
the
new update, that's kind of cool that they've integrated phones and other stuff to mess around with and change things. Like that's interesting to me. So
yeah, it's starting to become a popular thing, like board games having companion apps, because I just got for Shanoa's birthday last year, I got her a Lord of the Rings board game that also has a companion app that basically tells you like how to build the map, where to put things, and then you play off of that as it creates the world for you.
I think my only concern with that is like for longevity sake, because I've had like like toys that have companion apps to control them that like iPads or other stuff have become outdated and you can't run them anymore. And you're just like, how do I control this now? So I think I've even had drones have that problem. So I'm hoping they have a way around that, just because I wouldn't want that to kind of ruin how a game plays for people, because it's a cool idea. You just need some longevity to it. All right. Well, Steven, what you been doing?
Well, I decided to take up ZZZ.
It's a terrible habit, but I mean, just be careful with that.
But I didn't play as much because the next update is happening September 4th, where they're going to add 2 more characters that Chase will shake his head because I got to spend money again.
we all will shake our heads.
So we'll see what I got to do. So I played 2 games or 2 demos I surprisingly didn't think I would be playing. They're not my style, but I played them anyway. I finished Hell Is Us, the demo. There was some people I never saved. Sorry. Maybe in the full game, since it's coming to Game Pass. Yeah, it is a Souls-like, but it's a little more forgiving because it's more about exploring and solving puzzles than it is trying to get into fights. I'm glad there's a story trailer that just came out so I can figure out what the hell is going on or what the hell is us. And then I tried Blades of Fire, which is actually made by Mercury Stream that uses their own proprietary engine that looks really good. So I do advise people at least check it out because they do an amazing amount of detail with that engine. Yes, it's another Souls-like where it uses all the face buttons for attacks because you can do overheads, you can do side swipes. And the thing is, it'll highlight the character in different colors depending on if you'll be able to hurt them with that type of weapon or attack. So somebody with chainmail, you don't want to slash because that's not going to work. But if you're stabbing through the chainmail, that works. So if you change to a stabbing motion for the swords, then you can actually hurt them more. So I was like, it's a neat idea.
Okay.
It does the Dark Souls thing. If you die, you go back to the spawn. But the spawns are plentiful, unlike some other games, so it's not bad at all. That one I finished pretty quickly. Because it was just about making your own weapons too, which was kind of neat because you get to forge them and shape them, change the length, the hilt, everything, and then you get depending on how good you do forging the weapon, you get a number of repairs because everything breaks in this one.
What'd you play it on?
PS5.
Okay.
And then lastly, I played the playtest for a game called Recoin. Which is exactly what it sounds like. No, it is Balatro meets coin pusher, like you would get at a festival where you're pushing over quarters.
Oh, I live in Panama City, and those things are everywhere on the beach. I know of those Oh
so imagine that, but with power-ups, with special coins that can explode or stick to other coins, that can multiply, that can become subway tokens. Eventually you can unlock the ability to shake the machine. Very helpful. And then you get those towers of coins, which look awesome. I played through the playtest. I beat it first try. So I was just like, okay, not too bad.
I have to play this just to see if my lifetime of experience playing those games when I was bored and hanging out on the beach, if that actually carries over to this game.
It's super easy though. You just use your mouse or keyboard if you want, but the mouse is just left button shoots out the left side, right button out of the right side. But if you press both at the same time, the two coins will hit each other in the middle, so you could push it in the middle. Surprisingly addictive. I lost track of time.
Nothing wrong with that, I guess, unless you need that time.
And by next week, I'll have tried because everybody's waiting to see what my impressions are of Garfield Kart 2. All you can drift.
Yes, we're just on beta.
It says I can invite people, so I'm going to invite Chris, Jeremy, and everybody else to try out the greatest Garfield kart ever.
What did we do to you? What the hell, man? We should actually play this together. Why not? All right. So, as I said before, I have spent a bit of this week over in San Antonio, Texas, because I got flown out there for work at kind of short notice to go work on a radar site, which I did get working, by the way, so that's good. But during my travel, I went ahead and played some more of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remake. And I forgot how late PlayStation, early Dreamcast this damn game was. Because it was just like, hey, do you remember what you're doing or where you're going? We're not going to tell you. Good luck remembering that. And it was like, wow, I have not dove into these old games in a while. When I got to the first boss, who's like phasing through the gates, and I'm trying my damnedest to remember, what do I do to kill him? Because they got the little crank. You can just hang from it like an idiot, but you can't do anything. And mind you, I'm on a plane. I can't get online, so I can't look up anything just to kind of figure out where I'm going. So I finally was able to look up and realize, oh yeah, I got to jump over here to pull the lever, to open the gate, to trail it over, to stab it, and do that a couple times. And it took a little bit, but it was kind of funny remembering that. And also when you died, because I failed the first time trying to do it just to figure out the other way, and he killed me. And it spawned me way the hell back. And then I had to remember how to get back to where I was. It's like, yeah, it's been a while. I still love the game, but damn, I forgot. It looks really good on the Switch though. Like, I'm very surprised at like how they cleaned it up and how well it runs on there. Or on Switch 2. I'm not playing it on the Switch 1. I'm playing on Switch 2. The other thing with all the free time, and since I own it digitally, I finally got back into Street Fighter 6 and played that a lot on the plane. So while I was watching or listening to stuff on my phone, either for podcasts or trying to catch up on some of the videos and things for Gamescom and all that, I was just going through the adventure mode in Street Fighter 6 and just trying to level up and get caught back up to where I was on Xbox. Because I never looked to see if you could move your save over. I just said screw it and started over and just working my way through. Yeah, good. I'm glad I didn't waste my time. It plays pretty well on there. I'm still pretty happy with it. I kicked myself for not bringing my Pro Controller, so I had to play it with the 4 face buttons, which are... It works, but I'd rather have an actual D-pad for fighting games. Like, I could deal with it, but I didn't like it.
It's like playing a fighting game on the Wiimote.
At least a Wiimote's got a freaking D-pad. Like, I could turn that sideways and play it, and I'll live with it. That's fine. Shit, I was able to play Smash Brothers with that if I had to. It worked. But lastly, while I was in San Antonio, I managed to find a toy store called Toy Hunters, which was like basically Valhalla for just toys, like just stuff everywhere. I was going to send you guys a video I took of this place, just walking around. It's like a warehouse sized place, just full of toys from all kinds of generations and stuff. And I met the owner, a guy named Ernie, and then one of his employees, a guy named Michael, who was there helping me out with stuff. And I was talking with them for a good couple of hours, like 4 or 5 hours. The first day I went there after I got the job done and swung by there. I think I became friends with them. We were talking for a bit. They ended up closing. They were like, yeah, just keep, I'm still looking around, still talking to them. I came back the next morning before my flights to go and pick up some stuff that my son wanted me to get. And they saw me outside, ended up opening up early for me, like an hour or so, to let me in to find some stuff and continue talking. So they were really cool about it. But that's where I picked up this crazy thing, which is a giant Slimer, which I wanted them to know I got at home. And they were cool enough to drop the price on this for me to actually get it back to the house because I'm so happy with this thing. But I picked up that, and then Michael will also be nice to know that the Enterprise made it back in one piece, which this is my Enterprise D that I found, which looks like a normal one. But next week, because I have it in this form so I can take photos with it, but it completely changes without adding anything. It's all self-contained and like folds out and comes out of it. Becomes the future Enterprise from the last episode of Star Trek Next Generation. So it'll have the 3 nacelles, the phaser cannon, the little pieces on the top, the fins, everything just comes out of it, which is kind of crazy, like Transformer-ish. I didn't even know they made this. So super happy to find that. I got a super tiny Han Solo in carbonite that I found. That was a micro machine for a couple different sets. But yeah, if you're in San Antonio, go look them up and check them out. Apparently he does sell stuff online, so I don't know if this will be viewable for anybody, but that's the QR code for his online store. And I guess he also does stuff on TikTok, but I don't normally look at that. I don't know if that's going to be viewable for anybody, but yeah, I'll try. It's kind of blurry. But yeah, check them out. They were absolutely hilarious and fun to talk to, and I haven't had that good of a toy-based conversation in a long time. Just going back and forth about quizzing each other or finding out little facts about things or, oh, do you remember this series and so forth. I missed that. And it was nice to get to have that again and just kind of explore an area. So 100% go find those guys. They were hilarious and fantastic. So yeah. Also, you can't have the Slimer. I bought it. It's mine. Put the Enterprise down there so I don't break it during the show. All right, so let's jump over to the group chat. So this week, we will be talking about Zombie Army 4, but to start it off, we finally, the 3 of us at least, played the Battlefield 6 demo, or the beta, and it was interesting how that went. It was a lot of fun. I think we all enjoyed it, but God, the first few rounds... for one, Steven, you just run off. You're just like, I'm going, yay! It's like, oh, I'm dead. I gotta pick you up. Now I killed myself. I'm like, come on, man.
They were like, hey, you're depleting us of our soldiers. I was like,
Yeah, I don't care. It's a beta. And I got frustrated for a moment. It was like, it's the game. I don't care. It's just kind of funny at this point. I would get right to you, and it's like, no, I'm dead. I think the other issue that I think they've acknowledged this and they're going to fix it. It felt like you would get hit with a bunch of bullets and they would all connect at the same time. Like you'd get hit with a few of them and they would all just at one time, here they are. So you were dropped to the ground like immediately, which was
apparently I think they're slowing it down too because they said everybody was too fast.
I could see for part of it. I tried.
They're not slowing it down.
Yeah, go for it. Mm-hmm.
They're what they're doing is they're getting rid of people that are
Sliding?
slide canceling, and then they're getting rid of people that are spamming the jump button. So they're making it to where you can't do that as well. But they're not upset with like the speed of like how fast you run or anything like that.
Yeah, I was thinking you were slowing down like the impact mark when it was like,
now just buff the rockets, you motherfucker.
I got a few kills with rockets. They were
when I hit them.
I tried using the sniper rifle, which wasn't too bad, but like there's so much dust, dirt, and other stuff from explosions and things. It's just like good luck seeing it. But I haven't noticed this in too many other games, but if you see a sniper in the distance, their scope will glint. And you can kind of see where they are. But by the time you notice the glint, they've usually shot you in the head. You're just like, well, damn. But I think they're trying to work out how the damage works, because I know I'd gotten a few headshots on people and they'd be standing there and then I'd just take a bunch of shots to the chest and I'm down and I'm just like, well, that was fast. But I mean, it's a beta and I was just
right now the meta is assault rifles and submachine guns.
Yeah, the insta dying thing they know about, and they said they're working on it because they said it's like a netcode issue. Because I think what's happening is it's just like a packet delivery, and the packets are all coming in at once, and then your guys
mail's here. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they did admit that was like a netcoding issue. They're working on the people that are doing like slide canceling and the like jump spamming. What they also said that they're working on too is because of the beta, they found people getting into places that were supposed to be unreachable.
Gamers doing that?
No, like those guys hanging out on the fucking side of the mountain.
I only happened to have like video back when Destiny was in beta that we found our way under the map and like around, and there's like video of me hopping around underneath, looking up at people and stuff.
There was people in a division that clipped through walls and found the DLC.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah, but like for instance, I think in the Siege of Cairo map, there's people getting on top of like the overpass. That's like a well-known one. People getting up on the overpass and then putting down a spawn beacon and then using that as like a sniping area. The
mountainous region, they were doing that a lot too.
Yeah, the mountainous region, there's a specific area. I think Swan's talked about it before too, where people can actually get into the mountain to like hide, and then they can come back
hanging out there sniping. I couldn't hit them for anything.
So they said they're fixing it because they said because eventually the assault class is going to get ladders, and they said even with the ladders, they shouldn't have been able to actually reach those areas.
It could get frustrating, but this is one of those situations I'm glad people were doing that, because you want people to break things and do what they're not supposed to in a beta, because it tells them, hey, we need to fix this, or that needs to be changed, or this is what they're trying to do. And you're never going to be able to stop all of it. There's always going to be something new coming in, but I would rather be like, well, the beta was fun, which I really enjoyed it. And I think I am going to go ahead and get this game when it comes out. So if nothing else, Chase, you'll have me there with you playing.
Nice.
But I would rather go through that crap now than when we get the actual game and kind of minimize it some,
Yeah, I think the overall sentiment for this game is everybody's just like, I gotta wait till October now. they want to be back in and playing it because they loved it so much.
And it ran really well. Crossplay worked beautifully. I don't think we had any major issues connecting with each other and playing. Because I believe I was on Xbox. You were on PlayStation. Steven, I don't know which one you were playing on. I'm about to say it's a dealer's choice with you.
Switch 2.
PS2, yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of glad that worked out really well. Chris, we need to eventually get you into Battlefield. Why not?
You do not want me in an FPS game.
You wouldn't.
Now I want you in an FPS
what
game.
You used to be able to do. You cannot use explosives the same way anymore.
I will find a way.
It's just usually hilarious.
The explosives are interesting. C4s are great. I like them.
C4 works.
I had fun with the grenade launcher. I wrecked some people trying to snipe with the grenade launcher because there was one, the city map we were in. We were on the bottom floor of one of the wrecked buildings where they could set an explosive, and then they would post up through this hole in the wall you could see on this other building, and they kept sniping through. And I managed to launch one grenade up there and take out like 3 of them at one time. I was like, yeah, explosives finally did their job.
The salt grenade launcher is really good. You can even get you can swap it out. You can either have the high explosive grenade launcher, or you can actually get like an incendiary one as well, which is pretty good.
I didn't really mess with the customization too much. I just went with what we had because we only played it for that one night, so I didn't.
I like shooting down the helicopters and jets. That was fun.
Yeah,
that's how you launching rockets at that thing like crazy, trying to get it down.
Eventually I just gave myself the lock-on ones, and those were great.
You got one, and I got shot, fell, and then all of a sudden the helicopter just like crashed in front of me. I was like, "What the hell was that?" And I hear you on there. I got it.
Sound design in this game is amazing.
Yes, you and I were talking about that while we were playing, like especially playing with headphones. Like I heard bullets whizzing by me. I was like, "Okay, this is good." You could hear people in the distance pretty well. You could still sneak up depending on how you're walking, but depending on what you were walking on, you could hear a lot of the steps and things. Get people getting with tanks that can set off just turrets of fire can go to hell. Because I'll just be sitting there and a tank just rains down shit over, like they arched it. They just kind of arced it over to hit us instead of just firing straight.
And you have to hit the damn thing with 4 rockets to get rid of it. Because it's just like, oh, you did 25% damage. And I was like, fuck off, Battlefield.
You should be able to at least like blow the tread off or something, like make it,
or at least get rid of the gunner.
Fixes it. Yeah,
the guy using the machine gun, like he's dead.
Like I get it if whoever's in the tank with the main turret, let that keep moving. But like if you could take out a tread to slow it down at least, I agree. Take out the gunner because I mean he's sitting outside of it. He should just take a rocket blast and cease to exist. His feet should just fall back into the tank. Done.
I give it a Battlefield 6 out of 10.
God. So Steve, Chase and I are getting it. We've already said about that. Steven, are you going to get it with us?
Never.
Never?
I'm waiting until just like all the other ones, it's $5.
Chase, am I just gonna have to buy it for him? Just pay for it and go, here you go, it's
not
yours.
gonna have co-op, you guys.
I think the story mode might. I'm willing to chance it. I'm willing to go in with this on the faith of playing this game with Chase. At least I will do it.
I'll be washing my hair.
You got some left. It's fine. You can wash it slowly.
I gotta check on something in the oven that day.
It just moved down your face. That's all. All right. So our other part is, of course, our continuing playing of Zombie Army 4, which we are still just sniping and shooting a bunch of zombies. What did we end up doing last week? I've had so much going on.
We finally got to see a zombie's testicles explode.
That's true. We did see that.
Yeah, that was displayed for all of us.
That was probably the highlight of the night.
I think I'd seen that in a different mode when I shot somebody, but it was just kind of funny seeing the camera cut.
And we're seeing the eventual progression of all the bodies and nerves, endings and stuff for Hitler to come back. So we're getting there.
It's like we're slowly rebuilding zombie Hitler. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Just to kill him. I'm fine with that. You know.
We killed him once. We're going to rebuild him just so we can kill him again.
It's entertaining, you know. Still no zombie animals other than a bunch of birds everywhere.
They're dead.
And rats.
And the rats are dead too.
We've killed the hand more. That thing just keeps showing up everywhere. We've had.
That's great.
The hand's hilarious. We've had some fun with those damn flamethrower guys. They keep coming out and setting us on fire, which is not going well.
Because there was some pretty bad network issues though. Because Swan and I were like standing in this one spot, and the game just did not like us standing in that spot.
Yeah, the game's like stop sniping from that spot and shut us down and took us back to the dashboard.
We had like 3
Jeremy's disconnects. Like, one more try. And I was like, oh, he's getting that Master Chief in him. Yeah, Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
I know how I felt playing Master Chief Collection where you lose all your progress again.
We had to play that level like 3 or 4 times. Like, because it would start us over from the beginning.
Yeah, try 5 with Halo, and then you'll be like, I'm never going back to that type of thing.
Because what was it? It disconnected, and I was still in the game, and you're like, just stay in there. Just stay in there. You're like going through as fast as you can to reconnect, trying to get back in there. Because if one of us can get back in, then if the other disconnects, we can continue. You almost made it.
The frustrating part about that particular area is that you have to go up there in order to get the upgrade kit. So it was like this thing where we were like, we'd go up there to get the upgrade kit, but then the game was like, oh, you're sniping from there, crash. It's like,
so eventually, like, Chase went up by himself, got it, jumped off. I got it, jumped off, and then we're like, you go get it, but on your own. We're not following you because that's what crashes the game.
And we made it through. So it was, weirdly enough, a specific area that was causing that crash, which is kind of funny that we figured that out after like 4 attempts. But we made it through. So I guess we'll continue the game tonight and see where that goes for a little bit, because I think the Battlefield beta is already done. So we can't play that anymore. So clear up some hard drive space, guys. Just drop it back off there. Are they giving everybody stuff that played it? Have they said anything about that?
Yeah,
sometimes they do that.
I think they are.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump over to our news so we can talk about all these lovely announcements.
Wallpaper for Battlefield 6.
Probably will be. All right, so we got a surprise 45-minute Kirby Air Riders Direct on November 20th, which, to Sakurai's credit, I will say was actually entertaining. I learned a few things about this game, and I'm excited to actually play it. It's coming out later this year, but so the game itself is a lot more complicated than the original title, which is nice that they're actually doing it.
2 buttons.
Yeah, it's using 2 buttons this time, A and B, not just A. But they've upgraded like a whole bunch of different vehicles you can ride on. They've added a bunch of new characters, which I love how they just kept adding those in throughout the entire show, like Smash Brothers announcements. And I saw comments, people like, man, why does this look so much like it's Smash Brothers? It's like, where do you think the menus of Smash Brothers came from? Kirby Air Rider did it first. Then they brought it over. Sakurai did both. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to playing it. It looks like it's a lot of fun. It is just a lot of racing. Like, it was 45 minutes to explain everything, but did anybody else find anything interesting from it, or is this... Go ahead, Steven.
Sakurai took a knife and twisted it in our bodies, because if you noticed, during the online multiplayer segment, all the other characters were named from Earthbound and Mother 3.
Oh.
It was Paula, Jeff, Frank, and Lucas. That's not a coincidence.
Oh, that's just wrong. I mean, he kind of got me as well, because I was trying to watch it on my phone while doing other stuff, because of course this aired right in the middle of the day, like in the morning, so I couldn't watch it directly. So I had to watch it that afternoon, and I missed the part in the beginning where he talked about Smash Brothers and showed some clips from it. So at the very end of the trailer, I saw the little announcements, and they were showing credits, and it had, the Pokemon Company, Disney, Minecraft, Mojang, all this stuff. And I was like, holy crap, are they bringing in some of the Smash Brothers stuff? Like, is it somehow connected to it? Maybe the DLC's linked. Like, my brain went completely nerdy stupid. And of course, I sent posts about it because I was like, oh, this could be interesting. Let's talk about it. And people pointed out, like, hey, you must have missed the stuff in the beginning. They showed footage from Smash Brothers. That's why they're there. And I was like, okay, well, that's depressing, but it makes sense. I'm still getting... Oh, go ahead.
They also did not mention during the entire 45 minutes that there was any local 4-player split screen. They did that in a social media post later that day.
I thought they did. I thought they showed it.
Everybody was like, you never showed it during the trailer.
Oh, I could have swore I saw that, but okay. But even to, like, as of today, I'm still getting people replying to those posts, even though I've already said, like, hey, it's been pointed out, this is what I missed. It happens, whatever. We can talk about it. People are still like, man, are you stupid? You didn't see, it's just from that. And I'm like, God damn it, people, calm down.
Just reply to each one with a picture of Slowpoke and say, this is you.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I don't know. I was thinking, like, if anybody can pull off having crazy crossovers with stuff, Sakurai's the one that could do it. Like, after what he did with Smash Brothers, I'm like, he could probably do whatever he wanted.
At least we know that Hal's making something else, because Bandai Namco is making this one with Sakurai, not HAL Laboratories at all. I'm glad Bandai Namco is at least making something run at 60 frames per second. So that's good.
I know there was a lot of people getting upset because they wanted this to be a Metroid Prime Direct instead of a Kirby one, but I'm like, they told us it was Kirby. What did you expect? Like, we'll get Prime eventually. I don't know when. I kind of was hoping for an announcement this week or something, but
that's not primed to release in 2025.
I mean, this was releasing early December, so I don't know when in the world. I don't know if it's going to make it out this year. I don't know if Prime's going to make it 2025 at this point.
Give it October or December. You can do it, Nintendo.
Which would be fine, but they need to have said something before now. So who knows? I don't know. I'm going to end up getting this, of course, because it's Kirby. We get everything Kirby. I will lose my Switch 2 for a little while. Though Jennifer was not the biggest fan of Kirby Air Rider. I think she just had trouble playing it. I know next week I'm definitely losing my Switch 2 for a little bit for her to play the new Kirby levels. So, yeah, we'll see. So let's get to the big part of the story here. Gamescom 2025. So we had a bunch of stuff announced for this. Like I said, I saw some of the trailers, looked into parts of it. I'm going to be relying on you three to kind of fill in the gaps here. But starting off was one of the big surprises for me, and that is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Dragon Pearl of Destruction for PS5, Series, Xbox Series systems, Switch, and PC, with no official date given yet. So this is published by Limited Run Games and developed by Bitmap Bureau. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with 4-player local or online play, 12 stages of what look like Golden Axe-inspired spells and gameplay, which kind of makes sense because He-Man came out around that time, and it was kind of the big, Conan and Star Wars type thing combined. And that's what gave us Golden Axe and He-Man and all that stuff. There's 4 playable characters so far. They included He-Man, Teela, and Man-at-Arms. And they said there'd be one more character that has not been announced. So I was a little disappointed with that. I figured they could have so many more playable characters, but apparently they're sticking with 4, and that's it.
Oh, give them some time. I'm expecting She-Ra DLC.
Well, She-Ra, I'm kind of wondering if it could be the 4th character, because that would be 2 guys and 2 girls, which kind of balances it out. But I was hoping there'd be more options, like more characters or styles to play as, give you costumes and so forth, because that would be like the toys. You could have He-Man with like the different battle armors or different types. That would be kind of a fun throwback. I know it's a lot of pixel art, but we're not exactly pushing for storage space anymore. We could do it. Ninja Turtles got away with it pretty well. Like, they had at least color variations and different art styles, so they could do something with it.
That took time, though. For one thing, they needed to know that the game did well and, had enough reason to do DLC. And that took months of time. So I'm sure you'll get more characters, but they have to make sure it's worth the time first.
True. But I mean, even its initial release, you still had alternate like colors and stuff you could go with. So we'll have to see how this one goes. He-Man's going to get help from other characters. They've shown like Orko, the Red Dragon, Granomir, and others. And then bosses and enemies shown so far were Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman, the Feral Shadow Beast, the Pale Witch, Shakoti, and then others that have not yet been shown. So I'm sure we're going to see all kinds of stuff.
They did show some footage today of He-Man jumping through the window on one of those like hover bike things he used too.
Nice. I used to have the vehicle that would connect to that had the big cannon with the orange.
Makes you wonder if one of the levels will be you're racing on that, like the futuristic stages in Turtles.
I'm about to say a lot of beat 'em ups kind of do that. This does feel kind of like how Ninja Turtles was. I bet you we're gonna probably get like 2 or 3 releases of it as they add more stuff, because that's what Limited Run and others did with Ninja Turtles. So if they can get away with it, why not? I'll be the sucker to buy this. Anybody else a He-Man fan at all?
I'm a proponent for beat 'em ups, and Bitmap Bureau, especially with their regimen of games so far. I'm excited for it. I'm just hoping it's more geared in terms of its gameplay more towards Turtles and less like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and G.I. Joe, because those were too simplistic. They looked really good, but as soon as you played them, you're like, I can only do the same thing with each character. But at least you could see with He-Man's different characters the spells and stuff. So I was like, okay, we're gearing more towards the turtle side because there's variety.
They didn't say anything about it, but I'm hoping you can kind of level up and get different abilities as you go as well. Because I kind of like that for Turtles, of getting different combos and special attacks. So yeah.
They're going the Golden Axe route. That means you're probably going to have to get different amounts of magic to perform different spells, because that's how it worked back in the day. So we'll see.
I'm also kind of curious how it's going to work for the other two, because like with He-Man, you've got, the power sword, so he can do, like they showed the lightning attack and so forth, but Teela and Man-at-Arms were more tech-based. They weren't really magic for a lot of their stuff. So I'm sure Man-at-Arms...
The Iron Man thing, a giant gun.
Yeah, Man-at-Arms might do that. I don't know. He was one of my favorite actual figures back in the day that I had, because his armor fitting on him was just cool as heck. So, all right, let's go on to our next little bit here. Cult of the Lamb Woolhaven expansion announced for 2026. Seems even more action orientated now, with the first paid expansion since the release after a lot of free updates and content. So, buy this, give them some support, because they've done a whole bunch of free stuff, and this is the first time they've actually asked for money. And it seems like a pretty substantial expansion, not just a little quick one. You guys play Cult of the Lamb much?
I have a friend who went crazy on it. He just did all kinds of stuff. And, it definitely has its fans. There's no doubt about that. But I like the art style, but I didn't have the patience to play the game itself.
I played it for a little while, and I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't stick with it. I'm hoping I can kind of get back into it a little bit more later, but it was hilarious at least, so who knows? All right, we had Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition, which is announced coming to the PlayStation 5 on November 4th. So it's no longer just an Xbox title as they're bringing this back. So it's another game coming to PlayStation, which at this point...
with better shadows. Digital Foundry is going to say, this is the version you want to get.
Right. They'll be like, we just prefer having a triangle button. That's what makes the whole difference. It can play exactly the same. That's what they want.
That triangle strategy.
I walked right into that. Didn't even mean to. Oh, Lord. All right.
This
so
is Christian's game. Yeah.
Kristen, you want to talk about this one then?
What are we talking about?
This is why I can't tell what you're doing. I can't see your face. So
as long as Steve keeps cueing me like that, I won't listen.
Damn. All right. So we had Denshattack coming for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Did they give a date for this one? Like 2025, 2026?
No.
Nothing? Damn. It's looks like a mix between Jet Set Radio and Trains, where you're literally grinding trains down the rails and on buildings and stuff, jumping around. But you play as a train and take down rival gangs and fight giant bosses like Mecha Magical Girl and Moving Castles. It looks so ridiculous in the best possible ways. I'm kind of surprised this one's not coming to Switch, though. It kind of looks like it would be a Switch adjacent title, just because really colorful stuff like this tends to do that.
So I was listening to rumblings around Gamescom and trying to get from people, industry insiders and developers and stuff. And according to Jeff Grubb, he said, finally, in the first quarter of next year is when dev kits are going out, like en masse, like a lot. Like they didn't have enough. They ran out this year, but they're gonna be sending like so many more out next year. So they said you'll probably see more announcements next year.
Yeah, Nintendo really dropped the ball on that. I think that's their biggest mistake so far. They got plenty of systems out for everybody, but dev kits should have been included in that. Oh, who knows? All right, let's move on to our next little one. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 launching October 21st. So pre-orders include the Bloodlines Nostalgia Jukebox, which is a Haven decor item featuring a curated playlist of in-game music by composer of the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Rick Schaefer. So that's kind of neat. Plays less like an RPG and more of an action game, which is, I guess, a change up from the old one. And then 2 clans are unfortunately locked behind a premium edition paywall for $89.99 to include the La Sombra and Toreador clans.
Toreador.
I don't know these words, okay? I've never said them.
Okay, so let me bring a couple of things in here. A lot of the reasons people are upset
We woke up
is
Chris
because one of those clans was basically I guess you could say the main cast. It's kind of like putting in Street Fighter and making Ken DLC, that kind of thing. And the reason people are pretty upset about it not being RPG and more being action RPG is because it's being called the sequel to what was an RPG in the first place and is based off of an RPG series. So there's a lot of talk going on about this one that it may not be what people were looking for, but we'll see.
You told me something interesting about the music too.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, that. So the thing with Rick Schaefer, he was called on to do the soundtrack for Bloodlines 2, but then Paradox Interactive changed hands with developers and stuff and eventually came to the Chinese room, and they got somebody else to do it. But they still have Rick Schaefer's music for the original stuff. So they're basically saying, "Oh, nostalgia. We changed guys, but yeah, we left Rick Schaefer's in there for nostalgia's sake. It's not for nostalgia's sake. They just had the tunes left over. It's a real mess."
Ooh,
so we will see. We will see.
Because like changing from more of an RPG-ish style, I know this isn't the same kind of changeover, but I'm wondering if it's like Witcher 1 and 2 to Witcher 3, where it kind of became more of it was still kind of RPG-ish for some of the parts, but you had much more action and direct control of your character. Is it going to be kind of a similar change to that possibly, or is this outside of that description?
Kind of reminds me that abomination they did to Mass Effect when they gave you like end of chapter scores and stuff like that. And I was like, what? I was like, what did you do to my game?
That is pretty rough actually.
There's no way to tell until people start buying it, but I do know that a lot of people who are fans of the original tabletop RPG are not happy. So we will see.
Oof. Yeah. Are you going to get this, Chris, to at least try it out, or you sound kind of upset with it?
I'm going to play the first one, and then I'm going to make my decision.
Okay. We will leave this in your hands to decide for many other people if it's good or not.
Tell us if vampires suck or not.
Oh boy.
God dang it. So many puns. I'm so sorry, people. All right. So for my happy announcements here, we had 3 bits of Star Trek news, which included 2 new game announcements, both of which kind of surprised me for what they are and how they play, and then 1 port of a game I've been enjoying. So first off, we had Star Trek Infection announced for the MetaQuest and Steam VR, so you can play this on PC. This is coming in 2025, but they haven't given an exact date. You explore the USS Lumen, which is a Defiant class starship, if people are wondering about that, as well as Deep Space 38, which is one of the Starfleet space stations, as a Vulcan officer looking into a strange infection, which is sentient. Apparently, it's almost think of like the Hive from Halo almost. And it's mutating people in mysterious ways, which, a couple good episodes of Star Trek have involved weird mutations, so this could go either way. You have been infected, and you're trying to fight off the effects as you explore while unlocking new abilities as the mutation continues. It's a very survival horror vibe in a Star Trek setting, which is kind of cool. The tagline for it is, quote, "the first narrative survival set in the Star Trek universe." I watched some of the gameplay for it, and I did like the fact that when you do like a Vulcan nerve pinch, or you can actually do mind melds with people that are like mutated or changed, and you kind of have a little mini game to map out their their nervous system to knock them out or to explore it. I was like, I want to see how this plays. Like, I like the idea of exploring the ship, because some of my favorite Star Trek TNG episodes involved like the ship being completely wrecked, or weird mutations happening. Like there was the whole de-evolution that happened on the Enterprise one time, and everyone's changing into different animals and stuff, and Picard and Data are trying to sneak through the ship and survive and figure out what happened and reverse it. Like that was a kind of a fun concept. So this feels like that in a VR setting, which I'm here for, because I always just enjoy good Star Trek games. So why not? The next one here we had was Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. This one's coming for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC with an unknown date so far. I'm hoping for maybe 2026 at some point. I don't think it's going to be this year. But it's a story-driven survival strategy game where you control the USS Voyager as it's lost in the Delta Quadrant and tries to find a way back home. You gather supplies, fight off enemies, and explore, basically making your own path home like they did over the 7 seasons of the show. But there will be specific, as they call it, what-if scenarios where you can make different choices and kind of see how the story plays out. Which, of course, people immediately were like, oh, can you make Tuvix and then have him survive? Because that's anyone that talks about Voyager, somehow Tuvix always freaking comes up. I'm still on the side that I'm glad they split him in half. It was 2 people over 1. That's my side of it. Whatever. But the way I look at it is like you could do more stuff like, when you deal with the Borg, like you can actually research different technologies and bring things in. So like maybe you could take more Borg technology, or you could do like they had the other ship they found over in the Delta Quadrant, which was the USS Equinox, which was like killing off this weird alien race and using them as a fuel source to try and speed their way home faster. Like you could become absolutely terrible if you wanted to and see how that plays out. And I like that you can kind of play around with the story and ideas about it, because that just opens up so much replay that I'd love to explore. Another thing that I thought was really cool about this, you can zoom into the ship and see it almost like a cutaway view of every deck and every room and see where people are and like assign people to go work on things or research stuff or fix damage if things get messed up or up, you can assign them to away teams. You could do research missions with them, set them up for tactical whenever you're attacking people. So it's an actual like real-time strategy game that's kind of mixed with almost, Fallout Shelter, where you could see the whole building and kind of structure everybody around it. I don't know. I'm really excited about this one because I love the idea of it. I know you guys are not the biggest Star Trek people, and that's why everybody else is silent but me right now. But
Have you ever played FTL?
Yes. It does remind me a lot of FTL for that part as well.
There you go.
So
that's something.
But I loved FTL. That's one of those games best played on a touchscreen, I feel. Like a mouse is nice, but it's almost better just being able to touch and move things around. So the only reason it made me think more of Fallout Shelter is because of the side view it had. I don't know if that cutaway, if you can do an above view or not, which is what FTL was always done as. So definitely when it comes out, I will be playing that no matter what these guys say.
Report back to us.
I will, as I tear my ass through the Delta Quadrant, causing all kinds of shenanigans and trying to make the worst decisions I can on purpose to see what I can get Janeway and her crew into some shit.
You heard it here first, folks. He's going to tear his ass.
I've watched Voyager. I've watched every Star Trek series multiple times, but I've watched Voyager a few times and I really liked it. So I know of all these different scenarios. If I happen to be able to run into something similar, I'm like, ooh, I could do this whole weird thing and see if it lets me do it. And, like, I want to break this game story-wise and I can't wait. Like this is the mischievous me, which I'm looking forward to. I can be excited, damn it. It's not the only game I'm going to be this excited about.
There's also another Star Trek game.
Well, it's not even just the other Star Trek game. There's a whole other game in here that I purposely separated them to give, you guys a break from me, okay? So the last little bit announcement here is just Star Trek Resurgence was announced for Nintendo Switch coming August 28th, so that's only about a week. It's $20. I might pick this one up because I think it's just going to be digital, but I may get it just so I can use it as a more portable way to kind of explore alternate choices. Because when you play this game, because this is a port of the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series narrative adventure by former Telltale Games members at Dramatic Labs that lets you play as First Officer Jerry Rydek and Engineer Carter Diaz on the USS Resolute. As you're kind of going through the story, it's listed as Switch 2 compatible, but I kind of wish it would have been designed to allow for some of the Switch 2 functions. I think you could have been great for using mouse for certain things. For certain gameplay modes would have been good.
No dev kit.
Agreed. Yeah. Once again, I think that's Nintendo's biggest mess up so far this generation has been the dev kit issue, which kind of sucks. Like, you get systems in everyone's hands, but that's not too good if they don't get games with it.
Yeah, there's no shortage of systems anywhere.
Or key cards. Fuck, print key cards all day, it seems, but I don't want those things. I want actual games. Port them. Like, I'm not even mad that this one's digital. Just like, give me a Switch 2 version of it. I'm hoping it eventually maybe will get an update. That would be nice. But I don't know. I guess if I had to choose, I think Star Trek Voyager, that game being on Switch 2 would be much more benefited by the horsepower as well as the mouse controls. Because this does feel like it's going to be... I want to get a physical copy of that game on PS5 or Series X if it's on there, just to have it, because I love collecting Star Trek stuff. But I'm definitely going to be getting it on PC as well, because I feel like I would want to play this with a mouse like I did the old Star Trek Armada games, which I loved and put so much time into 1 and 2 of that. So there was a day back in the day I actually played more PC games. It changed, whatever. All right, let's move on out of Star Trek. I'll calm down. All right, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando coming early 2026. I'm hoping one of you guys has some more information about this one. Steven, I know you were kind of interested in it. Do you want to talk about it some, or?
Well, it did have some good things going for it. First off, it's from the developers of Space Marine 2, Saber Interactive.
Ooh. And
they are utilizing the same Swarm engine that Space Marine 2 used, as well as World War Z Aftermath. So expect a lot going on in terms of enemies, like swarming you. They decided to make it cross-platform play for 4 players, so
we're all buying this, right? We're in agreement.
So no matter what system you're using, you can go crazy. And they have John Carpenter as an executive producer because they, as well as making sure they get certain things right, a lot of stuff's going to have a lot of buddy movie vibes and over-the-top humor, action, horror of classic 80s cinema. So they're taking a lot of inspirations from him, hence he's putting his name on it. So if this turns out to be like Space Marine 2 meets Far Cry Blood Dragon, I'm all for it.
There needs to be like at least a 5 to 10 minute long just punching match between 2 characters.
What was that? What was that movie he made? Something of Mars? Ghost of Mars? No,
I was thinking more of They Live.
Well, which one did he make that was on Mars?
I don't know if it was Ghost of Mars. Yeah, look that up real quick because he made a few of them.
Yeah.
So, Chase, I take it just because of the pedigree of who's making it and the fact that this is 4-player co-op. Are you in with this, or are we getting this?
Oh, I was in from it on the trailer alone. Like when you watch the trailer, it definitely looks like it's like a first-person World War Z meets, like, it's basically looks like a really good Left 4 Dead style type game, with vehicles, and like it just looked like fun. When I was watching the trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, this is something that like we could get up to shenanigans in. Just from the trailer.
Chris, I know you're back and forth in these some, but is this something you might be interested in being our 4th to join us with this, or is this you'll hear it from the rest of us?
I'll watch you guys play it first, and I'll decide.
Fair enough. At least we know it's cross-platform, so we can get it wherever we want to, which is nice. Steven, I didn't hear you earlier. What was the movie name?
Ghost of Mars.
That was Ghost of Mars. Okay.
With Ice Cube.
Oh, God. There was like 2 or... I think there was like 2 Mars movies that came out around the same time for that. So who knows? All right. Well, we've had enough of a break, and now we're going to get to hear me ranting about more stuff again, because Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight was announced for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, surprisingly, and PC. This is coming out in 2026, and for the first moment, I was like, why in God's name are they making this? And then the next moment, I went, oh my God, they're actually making this. This is great. So we're basically taking the world of Lego games for Batman and combining it with all of the actual mechanics from all of the Arkham games, be it the free flow combat, the explorable world, which is now a larger map in this game than Arkham Knight had, which was already a pretty good sized map. You can do the X-ray mode for scanning for things. Like, all of that stuff is built into this, but you're playing as Legos, which is just, it felt so ridiculous, but the more I see of it, the more I really want to play it. So you're going to be basically following Bruce Wayne's entire story, but it's mixing all of the movies and TV shows together. TV shows with an asterisk, because sadly, I'm not seeing anything from Batman, the animated series. We are seeing stuff from Batman Brave and the Bold, so that's in there. There's also some stuff from Batman Beyond that has been hinted at and dropped, but I'm kind of hoping we can get some of the animated series in there, even though we can't, or we shouldn't probably get Conroy's voice in this. I don't want them to try and reproduce it or whatever. Like,
yeah, they already had him speak, so they already just have a Batman, because they showed off Batman's voice, Alfred's voice, and an amazing Bane's voice.
Bane alone, it's Matt Berry, which is such a choice for Bane, because he's not even really trying to act like Bane. It's just like his voice muffled, but he still talks with the same English accent. I'm okay with that. It is.
As I told my wife, she wants to watch me play it, because she didn't know the name, but as soon as I said "Father," he was like, "Okay, I'm in." I'm like, all right.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I'm Johnny Daytona. Human Johnny Daytona. Yeah, I absolutely love him and all of his stuff. IT Crowd was one of the first times I think I ever saw him in anything. Yeah, Toast of London's another series I've seen parts of, but I want to finish that. But anyways, back to Batman. So they're kind of mixing all of them together. So it's the movies, the TV shows, things like that. It's an open world, like we said. There's a gallery of villains that we've got confirmed so far of the Joker, the Penguin, Poison Ivy, Ra's al Ghul, and Bane. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of them, including we saw previous versions of the Joker when he was the Red Hood, his original personality before he got dropped into the acid on a lot of the stories. So that was kind of neat to see that. And you see his Red Hood gang. And I'm curious how they're going to follow the story for that, because originally the Joker was kind of brought into it as like this down on his luck sucker that they wanted to have as the Red Hood, so he could be the target that Batman would go after, or the scapegoat while the gang was actually doing the crime. And that's what kind of led to the whole accident with him. And they hint at it. They show parts of it in the trailer. So they're doing something with it. You see him fall in and turn into it. Then they have confirmed playable characters so far include Jim Gordon, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Talia al Ghul. No word if Talia will eventually stab you in the stomach. Depends on which movie they follow. They did
confirm that you will, before you get Robin, you will have to see like how he became Robin. That whole thing gets to play out. You get to see the whole circus scene and everything.
Oh, nice. It's not listed here, but they did announce and show off Terry McGinnis is going to be playable as well. So you will get a version of Batman Beyond in there. I don't know if that'll be, if they're making you go chronologically, if you've got to play all the way through for him to get old. I guess that would be kind of a fun end of story bonus to bring him in, but I'm hoping I don't know. It's Lego. They could just have some stupid time travel thing. I don't know. They do it all the time. There's going to be 2 difficulty levels, which is kind of a nice change. Lego doesn't normally do this, but there's going to be Capes Crusader and Dark Knight. How difficult that will be on either way, I don't know.
Probably Lego versus Arkham.
I would be fine with that, because I know Jennifer wants to play this because she likes a lot of Batman stuff too, but she will probably stick to the Lego side of it, or if I'm playing co-op with her to do that. But I'm going to want to play at Arkham because I have played every Arkham game. I absolutely love them. I think the only one I haven't got a chance to mess with is the VR one, because I don't have a Quest 3. I can't play it, and they never released the damn thing on PC, and I'm still waiting for that. Just give me my damn VR game. So the Bat Cave can be customized to display the bat suits, vehicles, and other stuff. Which
100 bat suits.
I don't know if it's 100 bat suits. I think it's 100 unlockable costumes between all the characters.
They had them on Xbox at Gamescom, and he said for Batman alone, it's 100 bat suits.
Oh, my mind is racing with the possibilities, because they've already shown a few of the crazy ones. Like they have the full rainbow suit, which was from a 1950s Batman story where Robin got hurt. So Batman was wearing the brightest, most ridiculous costumes he could to distract from Robin being hurt, so he would be the target. And he had different colored suits, and then he had one that had all of them, which of course there's a bunch of idiots that are all upset thinking, like, oh, he's wearing a rainbow, it must be this or that. And I'm like, it's a Batman suit, man. It's an actual from the comics Batman suit. Calm down.
Yeah, even Brave and the Bold made it in there. So
yeah, they call it Brave and the Bold, but it's very similar to the 1960s Batman suit, which is how it was designed. The only way you can really tell the difference is the shape of the logo. It's a little bit shaped differently with how the bat forms. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, okay, I can kind of tell. But I wonder if they're just calling it that instead of trying to explain as the 1960s one, because they're so similar. They wouldn't look too different in Lego. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be able to change much. We do see Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, but we haven't seen any other ones. So I don't know what other versions we'll get. Because I mean, even the one from The Brave and the Bold is very much the late 50s, early 60s design with that really over exaggerated face. And I don't know if they've ever actually shown that before.
If they do the one from Suicide Squad, they got to do the Teen Titans joke.
Oh God!
They're like, that's not Joker, you idiot.
I just want to see if they actually put the tattoo on his Lego hand, right? To have him put his hand up and have the smile. That was a weird Joker. Just I don't know. The game is confirmed to have 2-player local co-op, so it's not online but local, which once again kind of follows a lot of the Lego stuff, and I wonder how that's going to work, because I haven't seen them show it yet. So I don't know if it's going to be like a split screen, or if it's going to be like on Switch 2, can you play it between 2 handhelds, like wirelessly connected to each other, which I hope is an option. That would be kind of nice.
They do it in Lego Batman 2, that it split screened when you veered off too far?
A lot of the Lego games would do that. I think they started with the Jurassic Park one, where you would split and it would start doing the angle and kind of divide out and then come together as you came back. I don't know. With the Arkham controls and everything, it's going to be interesting to see that. So, yeah, they include a lot of stuff, like you can do the spray explosives just like the Arkham series, which even does the bat shape as you're spraying it out. But when it explodes, he has kind of a funny reaction. Little touches that I did notice through the trailer I liked. When you finish a guy off, like when you're punching people and you do a finishing move, it does a 1960s style Batman like visual sound effect. So you've taken that person out in a very Batman fitting way. I didn't see any of the actual 60s art though. It never says like bam or oof or any of that. It's different ones. So I'm wondering if they don't want to pay the art license for that, maybe. It's the best I can tell, which might also explain once again the Brave and the Bold costume style, because that might prevent them. It's a different take on it. Maybe they won't do it because they would still have to pay somebody for that, I think. Not sure. There's little bits where you can throw batarangs to take out light still. That was kind of hinted at with the Bane conversation, because you see a batarang take out a light behind him, which I'm pretty sure, they're just keeping everything from the Arkham games.
And the Lego he steps on is actually a gameplay element too, the red Legos.
Who put this here? Oh, it was great. They showed off a couple of the different Batmobiles, which we've only seen the Tumbler from Batman Begins, or that whole trilogy. We got to see the modified, I think, Dodge Charger from the Batman. We haven't seen the 89 Batmobile, but I have a feeling it'll be in there, as well as probably the 60s one. I guess we'll probably get the Brave and the Bold one, which is kind of a unique one. I hope we get Terry McGinnis's flying one, because that would be kind of fun to have. I don't know if it would. That might just count as a jet if we have those. We have seen the motorcycle. They added at least one of those in there, so that's cool. What else was there in here? Like I said, I had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about with this. They show a lot of stuff from the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises trilogy as big parts of this is the origin, because you see Bruce fall in the well when he's a kid. Ironically, he's in like a mock-up superhero costume, so I wonder if they're going to have you playing as Bruce, like he's playing in the Wayne Manor as a superhero, because that would be kind of a fun twist on that. Because he's wearing like fake little goggles, and you can see he has like a silver weird cape on, which is definitely not what happened in the movie. They show him training up in the mountains with the League of Shadows. Then they show him spelunking down and finding the Batcave and getting slapped in the face with a bunch of bats, which I got a laugh out of that. What else was there in here? They did
Batman
show that
was in it.
Well, I said that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff with this. I did like the fact, like a little detail I found, they showed, you guys have seen the Batman, right? Where,
Nope.
Really? You should watch it. It's actually really good. So there's a scene where Batman is chasing the Penguin through this car chase, and the Penguin gets a truck to crash and explode, and he thinks that's going to stop him, and he ramps off of this truck and goes shooting through the fire and lands, chasing after the Penguin, and then knocking his car over where it rolls, and he comes walking towards him. Well, I love the fact that, I guess just to make it funnier, I guess the truck was full of popcorn, because there's like giant popcorn kernels going everywhere as he's jumping through. And then, of course, when he lands, everywhere the Penguin is, there's a bunch of rubber ducks, which is a hint to the Batman Returns giant 6-wheeled duck that the Danny DeVito version of the Penguin drove, which I really hope is a possibility in this game. I want to drive that damn duck. I want that, and I want the Batman Returns Bat Missile. If I'm going to have to pick some vehicles, I want those in there for sure. But I like the fact that those are kind of in there, because they want to keep everything light. This is still a kid's game, but it looks like it is diving into the entire history of Batman, and I want to see how far it goes. And if they really are doing 100 suits, I'm going to have to go back and find 100 suits I want to see. And I bet you money I could make a list of that.
Extra quarters, Lego Batman suits.
You think I won't? I'm already thinking of a list in my head of weird Batman suits I want to see. I want composite Superman, which is half Batman, half Superman, literally stitched down the middle. Needs to be in there. I want the Abin-Sur, or Zoranth. It's a weird name, but it's like the crazy Batman that's in a stitched together suit that was originally from the 50s and 60s as an alien version of him, but later was retconned to be a psychologically protected version of himself. So if he's losing his mind, he defaults to this to protect himself. It's so crazy. Zur-En-Arrh, thank you. Needs to be in there.
They did say during the interview on the Xbox Gamescom that Batmite will be there to give you tips and tutorials. So
Batmite, that's definitely needs to be there. I want Gotham by Gaslight. I want that one to be in there so bad, because that is one of my favorite Elseworlds Batman stories they ever made.
I want absolute Batman so I can hit people with the axe.
Jesus. I would only accept that if they let you play as like the Bane size character. It has to be like grotesquely oversized.
And if you can kick children.
Kick children, and he shouldn't be able to fit in any of the vehicles. Like, there should just be an animation of him just going, like he just can't fit. Too big. Or tear the top off, whatever. It's Legos. You can do what you want. So, all right. I will go quiet about this for a moment. I will let you guys talk about Batman if you want to. I know you guys aren't the biggest Batman or Lego, so I'm hoping
this
for
might
this.
be the first one. Well, I own all the Lego games, but I've always waited for them all to drop down considerably in price. But this might be the first one I get at launch, only because it's not the same Lego by numbers, walk around, hit things, build things out of the pieces. It's no, we're giving you Arkham because Rocksteady is busy making a live service game. So it's like, okay.
Oh, that's so sad. That is so sad.
I was just like, if Lego's going to step in and make the next Arkham series and add a bunch of humor to it and amazing voice actors, then I'm all for it. So
nice. Chris,
I'll be excited to get this on a key card. So yeah.
Oh, I hope it's not on a key card. I'm probably going to buy this physically on. May end up having to be PlayStation. I don't even know if Xbox is going to have a physical actual copy. So it might actually be a PlayStation title, but I don't know. Chris, I know you're one of the other comic book people here with a lot of the artwork and stuff. Is this something you're kind of excited about or interested in at least exploring or seeing?
One thing I'm not sure about is how they're going to fit so many different iterations in the game. Because I wonder which Batman / Bruce Wayne it's going to be.
The same way they fit 9 to 10 Star Wars movies?
The best way I can describe it is they showed one scene in the trailer, and this kind of explains that it's just a literal hodgepodge of all of them. This is every Batman, every Bruce Wayne combined together. Is you've got the scene of the Heath Ledger style Joker going, why so serious? And then Batman all of a sudden spins his hat around and goes, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And I was like, okay, so you just combined the Dark Knight and the 1989 Batman together in the same scene. And I'm like, okay, I can live with that. That is both conversations involve Batman and the Joker, just not like that.
Okay, because the only Batman I want to see is Will Arnett.
I hadn't even thought about that. If the actual Lego Batman is going to show up.
First try.
Oh,
That's
God.
the only Batman I want to play. So if he's not front and center, if he's not the one we're playing, you guys can tell me how the game is.
I can already tell you he's not the main one you play. It's meant because this is based on. It does say the movies, but I think it's the live action movies and a couple of the shows. So, but you're right. Lego Batman should be in there at least as an unlockable.
I think he was already in there in his own Lego Batman movie video game. So, like Will Arnett.
Which just means they've already got stuff they could pull from. I don't know. It could be funny. Damn it, Chris. You got me thinking about that now.
You guys let me know.
Oh, I will.
I want Will Arnett Batman, and I want the I hate you Joker, I hate you too. I want to see that in this. If that's not in it, I'm not getting the game.
That was fantastic. I did see during some of the interviews, they did confirm Condiment King will be in this game, which is one of the most ridiculous Batman villains, who literally shoots mustard and ketchup. So
awesome.
We get to deal with that. Nobody asked the important questions of, do we get Man-Bat? Because I'd love to see a Lego Man-Bat. I'm sure we'll probably end up seeing Two-Face at some point. I want to see if we get Clayface and how they would portray him, because that would be kind of a fun one. Of like, is he going to be more of a brick-shaped thing that can change into stuff, or are you going to see him literally swap heads and things out to become other people? Because they love having the visual comedy. And I think it's one of the things I've always enjoyed about the Lego games is they are exceptional at visual comedy, especially before they could actually have the characters talk. Like that was how they had to portray everything. So, all right. Well, I'm going to buy this and you're all going to deal with me posting so much shit when it comes out. I apologize for nothing. This is happening. you're going to block me on everything for a while. All right. Chase, do you want to talk about this next one? I know this is kind of one you want. He's like, I'm zoning back into the show. What?
Yeah, so actually, like, to my surprise, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4 announced. PC only. It's being made by King Art Games and published by Deep Silver. A little bit of question, a little questionable.
Don't look up what King Art Games has made. Don't look them up.
Yeah, exactly. The campaign's gonna be around 70 missions, pretty decent sized. They did announce four factions to start with. So it'll be the Blood Ravens, Space Marines. It will be the Necrons, Orcs, and crap, I can't remember the fourth one off the top of my head. But then no, it's not Astra Militarum because that's coming later. Gosh, it was might be Tyranids, maybe, can't remember.
Okay,
but I was shocked when this came out because I was like, I didn't think we were ever going to get another Dawn of War game. Little interested that it's not being made by Focus, but
to King Art's credit, though, they have made at least 3 or 4 RTS games, so they know.
Maybe they've improved. We don't know. Has anyone found out why Focus isn't making it? Like, are they working on something else, or they just passed over?
Else. It's the only thing I can think of. Is it Focus or is it Relic? Focus might have been the publisher.
I think it was Relic, because I'm trying to remember, because I actually messed around with and had 1 and 2 on PC.
Relic.
Yeah.
Focus has never made a Warhammer game.
I think they've published, but yeah, Relic's the one that actually made the Dawn of War games. Dawn of War 1
their logos.
was great. Dawn of War 2 was just as great. And then don't know why they named this one 4. They never made a 3. At least that's what most fans think.
That's like me with Transformers games. It's like, yeah, you got War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and then you stop playing.
Yeah.
Nothing else happened.
Most people are saying it's because 3 was so bad that they didn't want Relic to touch it again. So instead they threw them a bone saying, well, you can remaster the first one and that's it.
Yeah. So judging from what I've seen from people that have gotten some hands-on time with it, it looks like a cross between everybody's saying it's kind of like a cross between 1 and 2. Like you have the large armies and like the base building and stuff from 1, but then 2, the integration of 2 is that you actually have like heroes that you integrate into your army and can control, which 2 was an RTS, but it was down to like the squad level. Like you just only had like a collection of squads that you managed, and that was it. So yeah, I'm actually like quite interested and excited for this game. I'm pretty sure that was Steve Bloom in the trailer.
Really?
Because I think he was. Because I'm pretty sure that was who was voicing Cyrus in Dawn of War 2. And when I heard the voice, I was like, oh, I guess he's back. So
they either got him or they got someone that sounded a lot like him.
Yeah, but
I have the confirmed 4 factions for you. It's the Space Marines, Orcs, Necrons, and making their debut, the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Okay.
Oh.
So 2 good guys, 2...
you can play the whole campaign solo or with a friend.
Okay.
All right.
And there's 4 story campaigns for each, 1 for each faction.
That's right. And then I think the Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum as they're called, I think they're getting added later. More factions will get added as it goes on.
Yeah, this seems like a game that's going to be rife for DLC of some sort, if not just visual stuff, but maybe other factions and things too.
Well, all the Dawn of War games have usually went on to have like expansions that expand on the stories and stuff too. So this could be really
Both
good.
the Dawn of War games, not the trilogy, huh?
Yeah. Well, I never played 3. I played 1 and I played 2. And
I'm just kind of curious, and I want to get your opinion on this because I had never played the third one. Why was it so broken? Like, what went just off the rails wrong? Just let it out.
So
This
I
is a
actually
safe
never
place.
so I never played 3, but there's actually if you want to watch a good explanation of it, I think there's a channel called is it John Strife Plays, and he
Okay.
actually goes back and he looks at 3 because he's the title of it was like, was Dawn of War 3 really that bad? And he actually goes on to explain why it wasn't liked and stuff. So that's actually
Okay.
probably a really good place to check out.
Okay.
Because I never played it, but that was also because I came to the game late. Like I came to because I didn't have a gaming PC until I was.
It seemed like the most pressing thing was they ditched RTS for MOBA.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would probably do it.
yeah, and I'm not a MOBA guy. That would definitely do it. Because I did like RTSs back in the day. Like I was, I didn't get so much into Warcraft, but I was really big into StarCraft. And then that later moved into stuff like Star Trek Armada and other things like that. I still have physically the first Dawn of War, and I did play it somewhat and kind of enjoy it, but I didn't understand Warhammer at the time. So I bet if I go back now, after playing so much of like Space Marine and stuff with you guys, and you walking me through and explaining the lore and what things are, if I go back and mess with it now, I'll probably be like, oh, this makes a hell of a lot more sense now. Now that I know what this is or what that is.
Yeah.
Because before it was just make that go there.
The worst it is, I can see why nobody considers that in the series. The more I'm reading about it, I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Warhammer is one of those, because like I never got into the actual tabletop, like what it originally was, because my bank account couldn't handle that. Even though I would love to. Like I've played it. Like I had a mate of mine over here that he was like, I've got some extra figures. Do you want to play it? Give it a try. I was like, sure. I'm like, this is really fun. Too bad I'm poor. But
it just made me think of a new big question. I added, what is a series you love with a black sheep title?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Zelda.
The Warhammer just 40k universe, and even the fantasy, actually, just Warhammer like universe in general is like rife for like good video games, books, all sorts of stuff. There's so much good content that can come out of that.
Nice. All right, so we'll take a look at that, and I'll have to see if that's something I want to try and pick up. I think I'm going to be more looking forward to what your opinion of it is, because it feels like this might be something you eventually get to play. Depending on something that we're going to talk about later actually showing up down there in New Zealand, that'll kind of be the big drawing point for you to use it. But we'll see. All right, let's continue on with the game announcements here. So next up, we had Rogue Prince of Persia, available now for Switch 2 versions later this year. This is developed by the Dead Cells developers Evil Twin, which immediately gives me hope to want to play this or give it a shot, because I love Dead Cells. How it looks, how it plays, everything about it. Has anyone here given this a try yet? Because I have not picked it up yet.
I have yet to download it on Game Pass today.
Okay. So maybe next week we'll have some
kind
stuff.
The reviews seem kind of back and forth because they're just hoping there's more to it, because a lot of it is a lot of action running. Like, so.
Yeah,
but that's what Prince of Persia is all about. So I don't want to battle that much. That's core Prince of Persia. So if that's the core gameplay, I'm in, because in the old days, like, battling was just in the way. The rest was just figuring your way through the level.
So you think they're returning back to that? Maybe
that's what I think.
Okay, I need to look more into it, because like I said, I'm not familiar with this one as much, but I've heard mostly good things about it. and being from the same people at Dead Cells, that kind of gives me some hope because I really like the stuff they make. So
Yeah, this was one of those that started like an Apple Arcade or mobile. The Prince was purple, and then it got tweaked, reworked, and the developers got to put in a lot of what they actually wanted to put in it, and now it became this Rogue Prince of Persia, which is a lot better.
Oh, okay, cool. Wasn't aware of that. All right, next we have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 DLC Legacy of the Forge announced for September 9th on the Dreamcast anniversary for $13.99. You can personalize your forge, private quarters, and its surroundings with brand new design features, allowing you to build a unique home with a customization system that offers over 100 million combinations. So that's
I want Shinoa to unlock all of those. Okay,
she will. Don't put it faster.
Is this why you won't tell her about it? Because you're just like, I will lose her forever.
If there's an achievement for getting 100 million combinations, I'll fly to New Zealand tomorrow. The next day, the day after she gets that achievement, because I'll be like, what in the world?
Yeah, that's terrifying. So you continue Henry's journey of discovery, return to Kuttenberg, and venture down memory lane, meeting acquaintances of your late father, turning strangers into allies in a meaningful pursuit to achieve your family's legacy and uncover a part of your father's life that has remained hidden until now. I love how dramatic even written that is. It's just like dash until now.
Well, kids, what's unique about this is even though you're basically just being a blacksmith, how you use it affects the whole game. So just like the rest of Kingdom Come Deliverance, you can affect the whole game by just how you blacksmith, because I keep hearing stories from people who will play like hours of this game and they'll be like, I never did any battling. I just lived in the world.
That's just how that one is, I guess. I've never played this series. I think I picked up one of them recently, but I need to mess with it.
Shinoa, I think I absolutely loved it.
Well, I think I did pick up the first one on Switch, so I haven't played the second one yet.
Like years later, they finally finished. They basically took a Silk Song's amount of time to make the second one, but everybody's loving the second one.
Yeah,
there you go.
Have you ever played Gothic?
I've messed with it, but I haven't played it too much.
Yeah, they I mean, like the combat system is kind of based off that, like where you select which way you're gonna like swing from and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And to be clear, this is another indie developer. This is not a AAA company.
Yeah.
Nice. So the last little bit you guys had noted on here, because I didn't do the notes this week. Enhance your blacksmithing skills. Rise to the ranks to become the master of Kuttenberg's Blacksmith Guild. Taking on blacksmithing commissions that will bolster your reputation. Unlock unique blueprints for new armor and weapons, all while helping the people of Kuttenberg with sword crafting, armor smithing, and some more quirky requests. So
it's crazy that you're making armor, because usually blacksmithing in most games are just either instantaneous sword and armor, or they just show you always just hitting the different weapons on the anvil. So now saying armor crafting, I was just like, oh, if they're having you do that, which they probably are, you're going to see every aspect of that, which is neat.
I'll have to see. I find it intriguing when they have DLC based around a job like that. People are like literally playing to do a virtual job, and I'm like, okay, cool. If that's what you like, enjoy. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I mean, like if you play...
I know I'm oversimplifying it, but...
Yeah, if you play one, then obviously like you kind of know from the opening, because like your father was a blacksmith. And so then like after the ending of 2, and you're coming back home, it's probably more of like you're finally home, and now it's like, okay, I guess I'll just carry on the family life.
Back to work.
I watched a short video of somebody explain like why he loved the game so much. This is not a spoiler, but he did a mission where he had to take down these 2 brothers who were doing like bad things, bad deeds, whatever you want to call them. And while he did find one of them and take him down and apprehend him and such, I think eventually killed him. He then told the people back at the castle, like, hey, there's still one out there. And the guy's like, I'll take care of it. And he didn't know like he would actually take care of it. So he said later on when he was playing through the game, he saw a guy hanging from the tree. And he's like, that's the other brother. So the game like really knows its like lore and remembers to do things, which is cool.
Oh God, that's terrifying. That's kind of cool that it's world building.
So when an NPC says, "I'll take care of it," it means he will take care of it.
Oh, damn. All right. Next up, we had Death by Scrolling to be announced for the date for that. From publisher Microprose and the Ron Gilbert Studio Terrible Toy Box. It's a scrolling RPG where you need to progress on a constant scrolling screen while dodging the Grim Reaper himself. It's a tongue-in-cheek take on afterlife bureaucracy with cheeky dialogues and playful narration. I saw a little bit about this, and it looked like kind of a simple game, but also could be kind of fun. So,
and you don't care about everybody who's dying. You even get to play as like Chad. So.
I don't know. It seems interesting. I think this is one of those we'll have to wait till we get a release date and a little bit more information about it. Feels like it would probably benefit from like a short demo of some sort.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll
Till
probably
then,
get
we can
something.
play Ball X Pit.
Yeah. All right. Next after that, we had Ghosts of Yotei free DLC Legends announced, which will have 2-player co-op missions as well as a 4-player boss fights against demonized versions of the Yotei 6. So, I know, Chase, you were really happy about this one.
Oh, yeah.
Any other details of this one you wanted to talk about? Or
Well, I mean, so I don't really know much other than what they announced, but if it's anything like the original Legends mode that came out for the first Ghost of Tsushima, it's going to be really good. Like, that Legends mode really opened the game up, made gave it so much replayability.
Awesome.
Because the story modes were 2-player co-op, but then you actually had like a 4-player, basically like kind of like a horde survival mode, and then they added later into it. They added raids. They basically added a raid, a 3-part raid that you could do. It was like really, really good. So I'm excited to see what Sucker Punch does.
Nice. All right. Let's move on to our next little bit here.
Sorry, Swan, this will be game of the year.
I doubt it.
We'll see. It's got to beat Donkey Kong.
All right.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was announced as coming to the Switch 2 in 2026. So this is the first Microsoft game that has finally been officially announced for the Switch 2, which none of us expected. We were like waiting for Call of Duty, waiting for a lot of these other ones to be announced, and it was Indiana Jones out of the blue. So
place your bets, everybody. Code in the box or key card. Which one are you gonna get?
Yeah, it would be the most hilarious irony if this got an actual cartridge release, because that would be the only place that is done. Because every other physical version of this it's basically just code on a disc where it's just not all there. So you cannot get this physically. I'm betting it's probably going to end up being the key card, which I hate, but that seems perfectly in line with the bullshit Microsoft likes to pull now. So thanks, people. I am wondering, though, if this version will include the DLC or if they will try and just separate that and come out later. Because I think the DLC comes out later this year, but this won't release until next year. So probably going to be separate because Microsoft is just making really stupid publishing decisions. I sound bitter and I have reasons. So I don't know. I want to see how it runs on the Switch too. We haven't actually seen that yet. Everything they showed looked like the PC or Xbox, PS5
run
version.
40 frames per second and 810p.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of stuff about that. I still want to see how it is. It could be fun, so we'll see. At least we're getting something from Microsoft. That's taking them freaking forever. Next up, Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, and Special Forces have been added to Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which now brings us up to almost all of the games. I think we have one more title that still has to be announced.
Just got announced. Yep.
Oh, it did? Okay. WaveNet Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 has been announced as the final game with playable Noob Saibot. Did you change that during the show? Because I read the notes earlier and it still said...
I was like, oh shit, the final game has been announced. Yeah, it was basically a scrapped version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. WaveNet was Midway's version of online servers that never came to complete fruition. And they have basically resurrected the code, finished the game, and unlike the other Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3s, this has a playable noob Cybot. So, unfortunately, it's the last one. It sounds like no N64 versions of anything are going to be put in here. I guess there's something hard to do with emulation on that. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know they said for Mortal Kombat Trilogy, they're sticking with the PlayStation version, which did have more of the data, but they went in and made it where the load times and swaps were faster.
Yeah,
so it basically might be the best.
It was
version,
drastically different. We don't get the boss fatalities. We don't get the female chameleon and stuff like that. So
right.
But knowing unfortunately for you, these guys, Digital Eclipse, love to say, "Oh, here's more content for a game you just bought the physical for." So I kind of expect that. I don't expect anything from the PS2 era. So people who want Special Forces and
they said that nothing will be for that.
PS2, you're getting Deadly Alliance from GBA, so be happy with that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the ones that people are like, oh, that's the PS2 era, and yeah, they are the GBA ports, not that. This is strictly 2D for everything.
Yeah, this way they can open up a second one and go crazy with that one. So
right. So, I mean, it's still kind of neat. It's the fact they're actually having like rollback netcode on Mortal Kombat games.
And Mythology Sub-Zero has Rewind, which makes the game so much easier to play.
Thank God. That game was so frustrating. That's another one though. Like that did get an N64 release, so like I kind of wish we could see the different versions of it.
But the PlayStation one did all the live action horrible acting, and the N64 version just did real time things.
Which is, yeah, I want to see that difference though. That's kind of neat. Like some of those are kind of cool. So, oh man. All right. So just because somebody mentioned it earlier, we'll just give Gamescom a quick letter grade, which I'm going to sit this one out because I didn't watch the whole show for the whole Gamescom opening live or whatever. But you guys seem to have feelings about it. So Steven, we'll start with you.
I will actually give it a B because I be buying some games that were shown.
Okay. Chris?
Pre-show, I give an A+.
Yeah.
The actual Gamescom, I'm giving a G for Jeff.
Well, yeah. If we're grading opening night live, that was a D. But
damn,
Gamescom itself was a B.
Yeah, Gamescom itself is different. I'm talking about just
probably would have got an A, but Jeff Keighley was there. That's what I'll say. There you go.
Oh God, Chase, what about you? Because I know you had some thoughts. That's the whole reason I even put this part in here. I want to hear it.
I'm gonna go with Chris. G for get rid of Jeff Keighley. Trash. That was ridiculous. That show was horrible. It was like, oh.
You like that trailer? I saw a trailer that was longer, better, and more complete.
Yeah, like he just keep like glazing himself, sitting there like, oh yeah, I saw that segment and it was like really cool. I can't wait for all of you to get to see that segment. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Jeff. Like, are you actually trying to get people hyped for this, or are you just trying to like make yourself sound cool? Because like,
I'm still important. Remember me.
And then like they would show like something really interesting, it'd be really cool, and then it was like, and then Jeff would be like, and like here's like 3 hours or like 10 minutes of just like anime schlup filler because like I just want the $demi from Asia.
$580,000 per trailer they got.
Good God. Yeah, that's incentive to just pump those things out like crazy.
It's ridiculous, man. And like some of those games are just absolutely like heaps of trash. This is just horrible.
I'm just going to say that I'm glad I did not watch the whole thing of this because this sounds terrible. And it's also kind of funny that I was like, yeah, I watched the entire direct just about Kirby Air Riders for the full 45 minutes and went, oh, okay, no, this was actually entertaining. Like, it's kind of funny and was fun. And that was one damn game.
I will say, and I'll give hats off to them. Gamatsu did a tremendous job because when you go to their site to try to even cherry pick what was announced, everything is clickable that was announced and has a trailer just for that. So you can avoid Jeff Keighley altogether, which was very helpful.
You sent me the link for that right afterwards, and I did start looking through that. And like I said, I just happened to find the IGN one while I was getting ready for the flight and downloaded that one because they're like, here's what was announced like within this window. I was like, okay, I'll watch that instead. And I did download it, and I looked at it, and it's like, you see that 3 hours, and I'm like, I don't want to sit here and just watch this. Like, it just sounds terrible. Because I was worried about exactly what you said was going to happen.
Yeah, even Chris gave up after an hour and went to live his life. So,
but yeah, if it was Gamescom as a whole, I agree. I'd be buying some stuff, so I'll give it like an A or B. But
Jeff Keighley brought it down a letter.
Yeah, I should have
clarified down a lot of letters.
Yeah,
T for trash.
I just feel like he shouldn't be the. It's just horrible that he is like the only person who's like the E3 guy. So it's Summer Games Fest, it's Gamescom opening night live, and it's
he even
Awards.
said that at the
and I was
beginning
like,
of the
somebody
show.
else do this, please.
Like
he even said that at the beginning of the show. He's like, E3 never left; it just came to Germany. It was just like, shut up.
I will give him the flowers just about the fact that he is trying to keep some of this going. We may not agree with all of it, but at least he's trying to have some kind of pageantry and stuff with it. But you're right, he is just, as you worded it, glazing the hell out of himself. Over
Jeff
some
Keighley,
of these. Like, it's gotten worse.
Kojima's asshole for 2 seconds.
I still love that guy that ripped into him. That was like, he's best friends with Kojima. Just no one's told him yet. We don't know if Kojima knows. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, it took the Muppets to tell it like it is.
That's what it was, the Muppets.
Yeah.
Oh, you do not mess with those two. Oh, man.
I was surprised he invited them. He actually had them at the Game Awards, but like, God bless him. He took it.
I can't blame him. He loves the Muppets. He was trying to the Game Awards, he was actually taking some criticism. I thought that was actually good that he was doing it. And then now I'm hearing about this and it's like, oh, okay. He took the criticism and then immediately turned around and wants to keep pushing how important he is. And I'm like, you didn't take the lesson. Like, you took the criticism, but not the lesson from it. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to our actual full next story here. So the ROG Ally, Xbox Ally and Ally X will launch on October 16th. Pricing is still being determined, but leaks originally suggested $549 and $899. But we've gotten official prices that's actually what it's going to cost, which is kind of crazy. That is really aggressive pricing for Microsoft and ROG. Like,
Best Buy says it'll be 10,000.
Yeah, I love how they have the placeholders. GameStop does the same thing. Microsoft showed off their new Windows 11 interface that will be coming to other handheld PCs in 2026. So I'm looking forward to that on my Legion Go, because I want to see, because like I spent the money and I bought a Legion Go, and it is still really powerful, but it's not a big enough of a jump, I think, for me to spend that much more to get one of these handhelds. Like, I'm okay with that gap that will be left there. The interface is what I want. So if I get that, I'm good for now, and I'll probably wait for the next version maybe to upgrade. But as we said earlier, like for you, Chase, this is your big hope for PC gaming is to get one of these, specifically the X, I believe.
Yeah, no, I definitely want the X. I mean, I'm kind of like questioning. The only questioning that I've really been doing is because there's now like talks that the Legion Go 2 might be coming out in the near future. And so then it's like, okay, well, should I wait and maybe do some more comparisons and stuff? But
that one won't play your Xbox games.
Yeah, but I think I might just actually go with the ROG Ally X. It looks, I like the look of it. And
I think for two reasons you should stick with this one. One, is the unknown. We don't know how the Legion Go 2 is going to be.
Yeah.
It could be great. It may not live up to these specs. And we haven't seen how the interface is going to operate on hardware that's not this. I'm hopeful it'll work well, and that's what I'm relying on, because that's what I'm going to wait for to see, because I already have the hardware. I might as well use it. The other thing is, I don't think the Legion Go 2 is going to be able to afford to be this aggressive with the price.
That's true.
Because $899 for what this thing is doing, that's around, I think, what I paid for my Legion Go. Like, I paid a little bit less than that, I think. which was not bad for that size of a handheld and that power level and everything it can do. But you're getting it already integrated with all the Xbox stuff. And as Steven was jokingly saying, some people, we have to explain this to them like they're kids. This does not mean you can play every damn Xbox game. You can play PC compatible ones, or you can stream them if they are compatible with the streaming version of it, things like that. And you can play PC games, not just on Xbox, but also on Steam, GOG, Epic Games. All of those storefronts are accessible and playable.
It will play your other Xbox games with an asterisk, because like a PlayStation Portable, you can remote play all the games from your system to the handheld. And if they're cloud streaming enabled, then you can play anyone that is not PC as well.
Yeah, that's
so the caveats, but it can. It's just, next time people ask the questions, answer them correctly by just saying, yes, you can with this compatibility, because they have what seems to be this weird game compatibility program, which I was like, so you're basically just being vocal about something that everybody else does normally.
I think they're trying to just let people know what's compatible a little easier, and trying to do that. Like I'm okay if they're going to add that label to try and make it easier for people to get, like, whatever. But what were you going to say, Chase?
Yeah, that seems to be the one, what Swan was just talking about seems to be like the one thing that people just can't wrap their head around is the whole, like, what you can download directly to it, what you can't download directly to it, what you can play on it, what you can't play on it. Like, people just don't seem to be able, they just assume that they're just going to get to play their entire Xbox library on this thing. And it's like, that's not what this was ever meant for. So if it's Xbox Play Anywhere, then you're fine.
Right. Basically, the general rule that people should follow is, if it's a digital title, it has to be digital. Physical obviously isn't going to work. There's not like a magical disc drive in this thing. But if you get a game, like you said, Play Anywhere, that's on there, you can play it on there. It's a Windows PC. So if you can play it on Windows, you can play it on this. That is how that works. So like, I have Indiana Jones digitally on PC. I can play it on this handheld. It's through Steam, but I can do it. But like Starfield, that's one that I bought that was Play Anywhere. So I can play it on this handheld. I can play it on my Xbox. My saves move back and forth. Forza Horizon 5, Forza 7.
Doom the Dark Ages.
Doom the Dark Ages is another digital title that I have that's like that. I can play all those between them. So I know if I got one of these that same day, they would all be available. And if you have Game Pass, all of the Game Pass PC stuff will be accessible and playable on it as well. There may be some titles that are a little tricky because they require a mouse and keyboard, but they're working on compatibility. But that's the same issue everybody else playing on any kind of Windows handheld is dealt with. It's just kind of a trade-off, but you're getting a better interface, which is what everybody wanted. Or honestly, what we wanted, what Xbox needed to do. Because boy,
I'm not going to buy it unless I can play Fusion Frenzy 1, Kung Fu Chaos, and Sneak King.
You were going to buy it anyways.
No, I have a Steam Deck. I'm good.
Plus, I could probably set most of this up under emulation. You could play them on there if you really want to be a dick about it. I could do it. So yeah, it's kind of fun. When they bring this interface, the biggest part of it is the fact that when Windows is running the Xbox app or the other stores, it drops a whole bunch of the background stuff that Windows normally runs to give you every bit of resources you can towards running the game, so you can get more efficiency out of the lesser hardware, because it is a handheld. There are limits. People expecting this to be like, I'm walking around with a 5090 are full of themselves. It's not happening. But it does do a lot of cool stuff. And that's what I'm hoping for when they bring it over to Legion Go, is to give me that interface to be able to switch between stuff. They were impressively quick with the demos, like for swiping on the screen between switching applications or changing between stuff. Like, it operates great. Like, I think, Chase, if you get one of these, I'm being a little jealous for a little while. Like, I'll just be like, damn, I want to see it. But you're way too far away to show me.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. Seriously considering one. Main reason I was seriously considering one was the fact that I wanted one of these because it was going to be the kind of the cheapest entry into getting a PC that I could play stuff like Content Warning and stuff with you guys, because there's
and you can still connect it to it and I would be surprised if you can't, but I'm pretty sure you can connect it to a TV and such as well.
You can.
Yep.
They've already got like different docks and things it's compatible with that it can operate with, so you can put it to a TV. You can plug in a mouse.
So you'll be
keyboard.
like I do and put Steam Deck on the TV and
right.
play Lethal Company because Content Warning is coming to consoles, so we don't have to worry about content. But Pizza Bandit, we need to play that.
Yes, that's the main reason why I wanted this for, was because I want to be able to play
everybody
some of these games
in this
co-op with you guys.
Everybody in this episode of podcast will play Pizza Bandit, or else.
Okay.
Or
do
else.
I need to order it? What's going on?
Three of us make the money, and Chris makes the pizzas. Good.
I like it.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, good. We can get Chris involved finally. So, they updated everything with like all your menus are controller based, which is good because before you'd have to try and use a touchscreen to go through windows, which is very finicky, which is why I always told people when you bought one of these handhelds, it was a requirement to have at least one mouse touchpad, because otherwise it was almost impossible to go through windows without it. I don't think the ROG has the touchpads, but since it has the new interface, that kind of makes up for it. And that way, if you want to use a mouse, you can just plug a mouse in or sync it with it and use that. So I could kind of concede you don't need the touchpad anymore if they can fix that. So we'll see by October 16th if Chase is able to find one, if Microsoft can sell the damn things in New Zealand. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it sounds like pre-orders might be opening up in September.
Yeah, it looks like it's everywhere.
Nice.
Because they're doing quite a worldwide launch, because the amount of countries they listed. I was like, if it's not coming to New Zealand, then they need to write a letter to their president or something, because it's coming to like Vietnam and everywhere else.
So Australia and New Zealand are both getting it. Like on October 16th, they were listed in the countries that it's coming to. It's just a matter of now. It's just when are we getting like a pre-order listing, whatnot. That's more what I'm waiting for.
To figure that one out. Let us know if you get one. We're hoping you can. I'm going to wait just because, like I said, I've already got existing hardware and I want to see how it compares before I go jumping in, because I just bought that thing about a year ago, if even that. So it's a little quick to just buy a whole nother one. This isn't like a switch
download Rogue Prince of Persia and Rogue Trooper, so you can be playing Rogue Trooper and Rogue Prince of Persia on the Rogue Ally X.
I like it.
Do it.
Gears of War. That's probably going to be one of the first ones I do.
Yeah, because I'll probably have to buy that digitally since it's not getting a damn physical release, Microsoft. Well, okay. Actually, we did find out PS5 is getting a physical release with a story mode, at least. So,
story mode's on the disc.
So I'm buying Gears of War on a PlayStation. This feels so wrong to me. That's how I have to get a physical copy.
They asked Cliffy B about that, and he actually said it doesn't feel that weird at all to him.
Well, I mean, I'm glad more people are playing it. Like, yeah. I get that. It's just every Gears of War I have is on Xbox, and it just feels weird. Not like all of a sudden it's gonna be all this green and then a blue case. It's just like
he's just glad to be included in conversations after his abysmal Lawbreakers game.
The guy's still got money. I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, he's got
Gears money.
Yeah. Well, speaking of people that need more money, let's move on to our last story here. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced a price increase for the PlayStation 5 consoles in the United States.
Damn it, Nintendo.
Effective August 21st. So, if you're hearing this now, it's too late. It's already become more pricey where you're at. This move is in response to, quote, a challenging economic environment. Yeah, tariffs, as he did the air quotes there. So the new recommended retail prices are as follows. PS5 will be $549.99, up from $499.99. PlayStation 5 Digital Edition will be $499.99, previously $449.99. PlayStation 5 Pro will be $749.99, previously $699.99. And then accessories so far remain unchanged, like the controllers, disk drive, and things like that, for the time being. That could increase, as well as they may do another increase on the PlayStation Plus, which I know they've done in a few places. Now, I know everybody was giving Nintendo crap for the fact that they raised the price on the original Switch here recently and in other places, but tried not to raise it on the Switch 2. Microsoft, of course, raised all of their systems all around the world. They were just like, we're spreading the love.
Anyway, might as well just do it.
Right, we're just spreading the love. Everything's going up. And Sony kept kind of making comments. People forgot that they've raised the price, I think, 3 times in other countries, but they tried to avoid it in the US before this. So this is not some new thing for them, but it's the first time they've had to really change it here. So once again, this is the first generation I'm aware of where we have ended the life of some of these systems costing more than they started, which I don't think I remember any of them doing that outside of like special editions or something ridiculous. Oh, so who's buying a PS5 this week?
That's 3DO money at that point.
No shit.
PS5 Pro or Rogue Ally X?
That, honestly, I would probably point people towards the Rogue Ally X because, well, I mean, you would get a lot of the PlayStation games are going to be on there anyways through Steam and stuff.
You get Steam, you get Epic Store, you get good old games, you get
now Sony has pointed out, they didn't outright say it, but they did kind of mention that on Steam they can choose what hardware can't play their stuff. So Sony could pull the card all of a sudden of saying like Spider-Man and other stuff are not playable on the Xbox edition, which I wonder how much crap they would actually get if they did that. Like that's
pioneers. And if you argue with anybody, you're a pedophile. Okay.
Bringing that up from that argument. Great. I'm just letting that one go. That was terrible. All right, let's move on to the speed run. So if you're looking forward to Forza Horizon 6, Japan is most likely going to be your setting because there's now been a deleted Instagram post from an Australian car import company, Cult and Classic, referring to the scanning of their key card for the next game that was leaked. So they were talking about a new Forza coming out while they were doing this for the Japanese market. So that looks to be our next one. So there'll probably be a whole return to the drifting scene that was from the older Forza games, which was, they used to make really fun videos with a lot of those. So I hope that comes back. Next up, we had Helldivers 2 Cross Halo ODST coming August 26th. Same day as the Xbox launch with a legendary Warbond in tow. So I will definitely be buying this. I also found out that our lovely car that Steven keeps crashing can now be a Warthog when you have this Warbond.
Crash that too?
So we're driving an actual Warthog now. As I
got to make sure that Chase flies out of it like he always does.
To be fair, it actually feels like more appropriate now to crash it now that it's a Warthog, like, to roll it over.
I hope it has the physics where it's just like flipping like crazy and you're just stuck in the back going like, ah.
And then every night, and then like you'll just hit like a random rock and you'll just be like, oh, Halo. I remember the good old days.
Which is better steering, Halo or Helldivers 2? Because they're both kind of rough.
Probably Helldivers 2. But that's
really?
Only because Halo was you steered by aiming the thing, which was I always thought was weird.
Once I got used to it, it became second nature, but it when I return to it after a while, it always does feel funny. Next up, Pac-Man World 2 Repack cross Sonic the Hedgehog crossover DLC was announced late 2025. It's inspired by the iconic Green Hill Zone stage from the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. With the collaboration, downloadable content adds the all-new Rolling Around on the Island level to Pac-Man World 2 Repack. The stage features a vibrant tropical landscape and reimagined checkerboard pattern ground and cliffs, capturing the essence of the Green Hill Zone. The stage will also delight players by featuring gameplay mechanics from Sonic the Hedgehog, including 360-degree loop-de-loops, springs, dash rings, as well as guest appearances by enemies Motobug and Buzz Bomber. Also includes a Sonic costume for Pac-Man. And then on the opposite side of that, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds Cross Pac-Man crossover DLC announced for 2026. That one, players will be able to race as the titular Pac-Man, as well as the infamous rival Ghosts on a track inspired by the video game's icons' modern and classic arcade Pac-Man games. And he joins other guests from third-party franchises such as Minecraft, SpongeBob, TMNT, and Avatar, as Sega tries really, really hard to make a racing version of Fortnite.
Just remember, they did not get the voices to anything but the Sonic characters.
Ooh.
everybody else is going to be silent.
Pac-Man, I think they could at least get his original sound effects.
We can hope.
That would at least be funny, just to hear him just the whole time. I think after all this is announced, Fortnite's going to announce their own kart racing game that has way more characters already attached to it, just because that's what they love to do. Next up, for a character nobody was waiting for, Bubsy 4D for PS5's Xbox Series, Switch 2. What a weird game to actually be announced for Switch 2.
Full on cart, probably.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So they're trying to put this wherever they can. But we get this game before Spyro, Banjo, or anyone else gets a new game, which is really sad and depressing. It's a 3D platformer with unlockable skins like the original Bubsy 3D, which was a nightmare to look at in 3D. Like, that thing was so... I hope it still warps the textures.
Plus, the impressions of the game are very positive right now. They are like it. It's borrowing a lot from Mario Odyssey, and it's working for it.
Oh, God. Do I actually have to give this a shot? All right. Here we go. This is the one.
To everybody, and you're going to have to give it a shot.
I am going to hate typing this into the screen when I have to put the details for this episode.
Good luck with this one, Ben.
Yeah, PVKK, Planet 10 Vertidug, Daigens Kanonen Commandant will launch for PC via Steam summer 2026.
Okay, gotta read the next one.
I do not. In PVKK, you step into the role of a cannon pilot for an autocratic regime confined to a defense bunker. Your mission, manually control a massive planetary defense cannon to fend off an ongoing interplanetary invasion, master the various systems to protect your home world, which is basically a first-person missile command.
The amount of stuff he had to do in that trailer, it was like you had glued two Steel Battalion controllers together. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah. It's like Planet 10 Vertide Diggins Cannon Mech Commandant or something like that. Yeah, it's such a weird... What a name!
It's kind of like you're a planet cannon commander.
Maybe, I don't know. If I said something offensive in your language and that somehow slipped out, my bad. I don't know what I'm saying right there. I feel like I've said something bad in German.
Out for us, please leave us a comment.
Dear God. I'd probably ask an AI, how did you pronounce this? And it'd be like, no. Just terrible. All right, so let's move over to the big question so we can wrap this show up tonight. All right, so tonight's a fairly simple one just for a debate for the four of us here, but how do we feel about a reviewer giving a perfect 10 out of 10 review? So this is basically, do you feel they should? Do you feel they shouldn't? You know, what kind of ratings do you usually like? Things like that. So, Stephen, we're going to start with you. I know you love talking about reviews.
So I looked up on, say, Metacritic, the best games of all time.
Okay.
Surprisingly, either because some person wants to be that guy or otherwise, no game has ever kept 100.
Of course.
If I give you the top three, it's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time at 99, Metascore, Soul Calibur for Dreamcast at 98, and then Grand Theft Auto 4 at 98. So I think what you got to see in a lot of these reviews is I'm okay with them giving a perfect 10. Some of them you kind of expect it. So in like official Sony website gives God of War a 10, I would hope so. When the official Nintendo magazine gives Mario a 10, I would hope so. Because it's they're comparing it to the other Nintendo games. Sony is comparing it to the other Sony games. I do like it when some of the other ones give it amongst all the other titles a 10, because then they're saying that they feel at least the overwhelming majority will have fun with this game. That's how I see it.
Right.
It's kind of like whenever somebody says, like, if you had to give yourself a rating, what would you give you from 1 to 5? You never say a 5, because that means you're flawless. And in this one, reviewers are saying in their eyes it is flawless. Are you going to look for flaws? Maybe. But I still think this puts in basically a very good word for it. Like, I follow a lot of different reviews. Whenever I look up weird snacks and candies, sodas, I look for the same thing. I'm like, did they give it a 9 or a 10? Because that means they had a lot of good things to say about it, how it tasted, or how it tasted in milk, or something like that. But they always just give you something that gets you interested in buying it. And I think that's what 10 out of 10 sometimes do, is it's the best way of recommending that you go out and try it or buy it. I don't think many people see an 8 out of 10 and think, yeah, I'll buy it. Or a 7 out of 10, I'll buy it. They usually wait for a sale if they see that. But if they see a 9, then they're like, okay. And then they see a 10 and they're like, all right, this warrants me checking it out at least. I need to watch a trailer. I need to follow this game.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see if there's a demo. And I think that's what gets people's foot in the door. So, giving a perfect one is still subjective to that person. So I think 9 and 10s are what I usually look for in terms of, okay, maybe there's something about this game I need to look into. What I don't like is, like, I don't feel that they've ever given what quote people a hidden gem or an indie title, as you can see on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen those get 10s, and I just don't. I don't know if they're just cheapening those by saying, like, no indie title is worthy of a 10. So it's odd.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. I think there are a lot of indie games that would be kind of in that range.
But it might be changing this year. We don't know, because we already know Claire Obscura Expedition 33 is a 10, so it's probably going to win Game of the Year twice over. So anyway.
Oh, man. All right, Chris, what about you?
Like anything else, it depends on the reviewer. It really depends on what you have to look at. What other their reviews are.
Mm-hmm.
I usually prefer, if someone is going to give a 9 or a 10, then usually you know that it's very personal, it's very subjective. But if they only give a 9 or a 10 once in a while throughout their entire reviewing career, then you know it's something that really made a difference for them. If it's a reviewer that gives a 9 or a 10 to nearly everything, it's going to cheapen it a little bit, and I'm not going to pay it that much attention. So, if some reviewers are going to be really harsh, some are going to pander to their particular careers. I'm not going to see many Sony magazines give Mario Odyssey a 10, but, I'd love to see that more often personally. I want to see more reviewers put their livelihoods on the line by saying, oh, this game sucks, Zelda's better, that kind of thing.
Shoot. I mean, the Astrobot developers, when they were doing the award and they were mentioning, as best they could, how much they loved Mario Odyssey and stuff and were inspired by it, I was like, that's risky.
And good. More companies need to do that. Get off of the yoke. But yeah, I think a rare 9 or 10
mm-hmm.
is more important than just handing them out. That's just me.
Okay. Steven, go ahead.
Just to piggyback on what Christian said, as of 2024, only 30 games have received a perfect 40 out of 40 score from Famitsu, the Japanese video game magazine.
Oh, yeah, they're
meaning
picky.
All 4 reviewers had to give it a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
The first perfect score was awarded back in 1998 to Ocarina of Time. But yeah, only 30 games in the 40-year history of the magazine.
Yeah, it's a big deal when that actually comes up. I know that much. All right. Chase, what about you?
I don't mind if they give like the perfect 10 out of 10, because I don't necessarily think that they mean the game is perfect or can't ever be better, or like there's no room for improvement. I think what they're saying is it's like, it's 10 out of 10 for the time, for what it is or what it's attempting to do, and that people should check it out. And I think that's nothing wrong with that. I remember back when it was like such an outrage when the Tomb Raider reboot didn't get a perfect 10 out of 10, and the reviewer actually said, he's like, I would have gave this a 10 out of 10, But this was back in the day where like every game had to get some like horribly slapped on multiplayer mode, and it was absolute trash. And he's like, I have to review the whole game,
Right.
and he said it's a negative. So I was like, damn, that's harsh, but it's true. Yeah, I agree with Christian though. I mean, I don't want people just handing out 9s and 10s like it's candy either.
Okay. So for myself, I've always kind of looked at it where, and I've seen some other reviewers that do this, that they'll either not give any 10s because they believe if that is a perfect game, no game should be perfect. So they would usually stop at like a 9.5, or if their scale is just, in ones, a 9, as close to perfect as they would have. And I do like how some of them, I think IGN does it that way as well, where they'll do a 10, but they also kind of have an unofficial 11 that is unobtainable. Like it's a level of perfection that just is not possible. And they're like, that is what, true perfect, which nobody can do. So when they give a 10, as you guys said before, they're kind of, it's the best it can be in kind of context of the time and what it's related to and so forth. And I know a lot of reviews will vary because all reviews are individuals. It's a personal choice for what people put in there and how that game affects them. I think all of us have got games that we would consider perfect, even though there are flaws and stuff in it. For me, one of the biggest ones for that is Super Metroid. To me, that is a perfect game. In whatever context of it is, to me. I know there's issues with it here and there. Things can happen. There's bugs or breaking, things like that, whatever. But to me, that is the context of it. So I probably would give it a 10. I've done that before. But that's going to be relying on my personal view of that, not saying like nobody can do better. And on the flip side, I kind of disagree with that whole thing of like, I love this game. It was fantastic. But because of this extra mode that got added on, we have to make it terrible, because especially for something like tacked on multiplayer, doesn't always really matter. If someone's just playing it for the story, they may never even touch that part. Like Metroid Prime 2, I know that has a lot of issues for people, just not because the game is difficult and so forth, but how many people will look at it and their biggest complaint is the multiplayer in it was terrible. How many people even remember Prime 2 even had multiplayer? Because it's just so forgotten.
I remember when IGN gave a lower score to a game because of the price. And I was like,
I hate that.
Price should not affect your score.
Yeah, because the price of like Ocarina of Time back in 98 doesn't matter for shit now. Go ahead, Chris.
So there is an exception, I think.
Okay.
You do make good points, but there's one exception I have to point out.
Always.
And that's when Activision released Crash Team Racing to various reviewers who absolutely loved the game and gave it glowing reviews.
Yes.
Then they pushed it out with microtransactions that were not included in the reviewer copies.
Yep.
That was terrible.
It wasn't even the fact they sold it new afterwards. It was a patch that they forced on you afterwards. Because I remember getting into a lovely and nasty online argument with people over that. Because I had said that Mario Kart 8 is always the better kart racer than Crash Team Racing, especially because they added that. And people lost their damn minds. Like, I don't know what the hell they were trying to fight about. But
well, again, that's that whole brand loyalty thing.
Yeah.
And CTR is still a wonderful game. I adore it.
It's good again because all that went away.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't make it. It was a bad practice, and it was done in bad faith by the company.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the reviewers' fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's just Activision being terrible.
Well, that's a publisher being straight up dishonest, because you can only review what you have. Taking into account they don't know what's going to be added in the future. All they can know is what's there at the time being. And I get like the multiplayer aspect of it really will depend on how much of the actual structure of the game is tied to it. Battlefield 6, for instance, we're waiting for reviews of that. We're going to expect that review to cover the story and cover the multiplayer at launch. If the multiplayer is terrible, but the story is good, that's going to greatly affect it. And I understand why, because they're so inherently connected to each other. Tomb Raider, I don't think was that connected. Like you said, Chase, it was just, they had to put it there whether we liked it or not. And I think the same thing happened with Metroid. I think they just felt pressured to have to put it into Prime too. Go ahead, Steven.
And another thing we have to remember is that, they're only human after all. And they're not going to always be like the voice of reason either. I'm looking at the games that made it on Famitsu's perfect score list.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Nintendogs. Okay. All right. And then we have Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which is hot garbage. And
I love that game.
And then Final Fantasy 13-2, which is burning garbage. So, yeah.
I'm surprised 13-2 made it on there. I'm honestly surprised Skyward Sword made it as well. Like, it was a good game. I really liked it. I wouldn't call it a perfect game. I wouldn't call it a 40 out of 40.
Every Metal Gear Solid game that came out got on there, from Peace Walker to Metal Gear Solid 4 to Metal Gear Solid 5. So I'm wondering if Jeff Keighley's on the board or not. But
he's on the panel of 4.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like Metal Gear. I don't think many of them would be considered a perfect game to me. They would not.
Yeah, Snatcher's an 11. The Metal Gear Solids are only like 8.
Yeah, I could see you having Snatcher as your big one, which is fine. The same thing with me with Super Metroid. And I'm sure if I asked, Chris and Chase, they probably have a title that they would consider with that kind of reverence for themselves as well. So I'm going to ask anyways. Chris, Chase, what would your perfect game be for you personally?
What would your 11 be?
Yeah. Or Chris, we'll ask you first.
Persona 5 Royal, I suppose, but
okay,
that changes over time. That's my go-to. I'm always going to say Persona 5 Royal. What do you want for dinner? Persona 5 Royal.
Metaphor for dessert.
Exactly.
Oh man, Chase, what about you?
Mine's never going to change. I don't think I'll ever change off of Snatcher until they can either somehow improve upon it or continue it in a way that I deem okay.
Yeah, I think that's how I am with Super Metroid as well. Chase, go ahead. You're trying to think of one.
Metal Gear Solid.
The original one?
Yep.
Nice. Not Twin Snakes?
Not Twin Snakes. Just the PS1 version. But
I can see that was a classic. Like, that really was a game changer.
It's all subjective, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, of course. This is a personal thing.
Yeah.
And it's, that I might even say, like, top 5 or top 10 is easier to do because nobody has that one game. Everybody has different moods. So
agreed.
Yeah, like I would agree with you guys, but then I'd be wrong.
But like Metal Gear Solid, I did the little digital keycard thing and borrowed that from one of the kids and was playing it on my Switch again, about a month ago. And I was like, oh, okay, this still holds up really well. It's kind of fun messing around with it in there in the Metal Gear collection. So yeah, these things can definitely have it. I think a lot of people need to also remember when you see these review scores, when people give it a perfect or a high score or something, to take it into account of the context of its time. You look at Metal Gear and you're like, oh, how can that have this score? It's rating higher than this modern one that just came out. Well, at the time that was a freaking masterpiece. Like it's still great. And it has its art style and everything. It looks rougher now. I get it. It was an original PlayStation title. You were dealing with wobbly textures and all kinds of stuff, but that was the limit of the hardware at the time. That was what everyone took into account. Trust the fact that there's somebody out there that thinks it's a 10 out of 10 on the Atari 2600. Somebody is probably on their deathbed thinking that, and it's weird, but it makes sense for the time being. It won't be Pac-Man. It better not be Pac-Man or you're going straight to hell.
Better not be E.T. or you're already dead.
You can do Mario Brothers. That was a pretty good Atari 2600 port. I'll give you that. But so the context of it for sure. Like you said earlier, Stephen, price I don't think should come into account for reviews, because that's going to vary depending on what each individual can charge or they can actually pay. Because, little things that you want, you might be willing to pay a little bit more. Like I said, this little guy, my little tiny Han Solo and Carbonite that I picked up at that toy store, this thing was $20. I bought it without even a second thought because I absolutely loved it. I wanted to get it. I know some people would think I probably paid way too much for it because it's $20 and it's this tiny thing. But to me, I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with it. It was everything I wanted on this. So that's great. But somebody else may find this for $1 later. And, that's not going to change how I feel about this item or how I feel about that game I'm playing. If somebody can get it cheaper later, or in this terrifying course now, it could be more expensive. Who knows? So it's all about the game itself, not about the cost or other things around it.
Yeah. Bad games can be more expensive. Look at stadium events.
Yeah. That thing's terrible. So yeah, I'm okay with perfect scores. As long as the person kind of doesn't treat it as an actual perfect game. I like the idea of perfect being unreachable. This is as good as they think it can get.
As long as they don't review it like a fanboy, I'm okay.
Even if they do, and as long as they're clear about it, I think there's still room for that. As long as you've got a variety of people to review something.
Because those are the ones who answer 5s and 10s on all the surveys. And I'm like, that can't be.
And I get that, but that kind of comes down to everyone's personal choice. There's going to be people that probably can't stand Snatcher because of the way the gameplay is or certain parts of it. Even though it means the world to you, somebody else may not like it, or they think you're being fanboyish about it, which that is your view of it. And I have complete respect for it. I loved the game. I don't view it as high as you do, but I don't expect to. Those people will be doxxed. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say with that part, though. Like and Chris, I believe you mentioned it earlier as well. It's reviews are always down to the individuals. We're just seeing into their point of view of it. And it's up to us to kind of figure out, are they fanboying? Are they trying to be mean about it? Are they trying to be fair as fair can be or not? Inherently personal decisions are going to be biased. You cannot get away from that. If you don't like racing games, you're never going to give a Forza a good score, even though it's a great game, because you just hate racing games. That's just how it works. So, all right. Well, I think we've dragged this one on long enough, so we can go ahead and end that for here. And with that, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up episode 185 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. Once again, thank you to Chase, Chris, and Stephen for joining me tonight as we did the show. And we're out. Peace.
Planted, Verded, Conquering, and Commandant.
I give that a 5 out of 10. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.